Hello, this is the podcast that drinks and no spinning. Hosted tonight is me, Gertie, of House Condescension. Tonight's episode title is I Can't Do It With This Loud Music Going On, but it's okay. Look for it. Give me a second. It is 999th Commander on the Wall, 999. His watch is done. He was burnt for fun, 999. 998th Commander on the Wall, 998th. Will it be snow? If you listen, you'll know. 998th. Ta-da!
Keep going.
Okay, you got 997 more to go.
Oh,
We'll
Lord,
be here
that'll
a while.
take a while. Yeah, we're gonna just skip right to.
Yeah, now type that one into YouTube there, Luke.
No.
The actual title is just going to be 998 Commanders on the Wall. We are recording this on September 30th, 2018, Season 5, Episode 2. It's the Game of Thrones episode titled The House of Black and White. Listen to Drinks and Nose podcast on Radio Public. It's free and easy to use and helps listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show on Radio Public's Android or iOS app, everybody benefits. Yay.
Right.
Now let's introduce all these lovely people across the world, across America from me. We are joined tonight by Glenn of House Dog.
Hello.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi.
And Ben, a.k.a. Sly of House McLean.
Good evening.
Oh, hello. That's very almost October-ish of you. And we have Luke on of House Blackmead.
Cheers. Welcome. Hello.
Hello. And lastly, we have Bailey of House Blend.
Hello.
Hi, Bailey. What is everybody drinking tonight?
We've still got box wine here in
Box
the
wine.
office. And Gatorade Frost.
I went back to the Shot Top Citrus Blast mixed bag. I'm on the grapefruit again. Probably the best one I've had.
Bailey?
I have made some Corona in a can.
I have a feeling Bailey likes Coronas. I'm just getting this vibe, you know. I think she might.
And the real
They're always there.
trick
They
is
are.
using lime juice, not lime slices.
Yes, I have
That's the
a
trick.
bottle of lime juice.
She's got a
to
fake
squeeze
lime.
into my cans of Corona.
Yay. And I am drinking Duplin, Black River Red. Duplin, if you're listening, I'm like crying out loud to you. Come on, let me win a giveaway or something. Jeez Louise. This show and all of our shows at thepodcastthat.com are produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. Hey, friend of the show, tell us about your current projects and where people can learn more about what you are up to. Bailey, that's you.
That is me.
You're cute.
I have a book review blog online at riddlesreviews.com. You can also find some cool book pictures that I take at Riddles Reviews on Instagram. And that's what I got going on online.
So you're not going to read
Cool.
what you put in the workbook there?
I mean, I could. It's not kind.
It's not very
Just find me on the internet in some places and fuck off.
Fuck off.
Awesome. All right, let's head into this. Benji, you are on our previous episode recap.
Cersei and Jaime say goodbye to their papa. Tyrion drains the narrowest of seas of all of its wine. Dany investigates the death of a whoring eunuch and drops in for a visit with her kids. Robin is left with a new babysitter. Sansa and Micro head west. Mance is given an offer he can't refuse. Mance refuses, and is fed to the flames before Jon speeds up the process.
An offer you can't refuse.
Give you
And
an
Vance
offer.
refuses
Give you an offer you can't refuse.
until you do.
Until you do. So this is season 5, episode 2. Episode duration was 56 minutes. It aired on April 19th, 2015. The director was Michael S. Slovis.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
Slovis.
And the
Neat.
writers were David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Luke, episode descript.
Arya arrives in Bravos. Pod and Brienne find trouble. Cersei fears for her daughter's safety. Stannis tempts Jon, and an advisor tempts Dany.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Well written, Glenn.
We're happy for you.
We're happy for you.
Way to go. All right. It is now time for everybody's favorite part of the show, Quill and Tinker Pub trivia. So, everybody get your thinking caps on. I find my question because I threw my papers like a mic drop after my song. But it's a little bit long because every question that I had, then I went through the notes and they were already written the answers. So,
Whoops.
Sorry.
yeah, I had to double check. Here we go. We have to elect the 998th Lord Commander. There are 3 nominees. While you name those 3 correctly, I also need, I'll go with 3 mentioned reasons why they should be the Lord Commander for each of them.
Jesus.
Sorry,
Holy
Luke
shit.
fucked you all because it was going to be easy.
I don't.
They don't have to be word for word. Just,
We need 3 reasons for all 3 of them.
We need a paragraph
Let's go
form.
with 2 reasons for each of them. Let's go with 2 reasons why they should be. Their little pep talk before they vote.
This is a good dead air for the listeners at
I'll
home.
put some music on.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm good to go whenever.
Still got,
Long-
I'm close.
Hello, Marie. How are you?
Oh, I could do that.
composition of our essay here, or?
I was like, this is the essay question. I was just gonna go with like, well, it wasn't mentioned in the show. The name of the guy who brought Arya,
Right, the captain.
Bravos, not mentioned in the show. I watched, and then who's the other one? Oh, the name of the guy who Dany like executes.
Mm-hmm. They said, oh, yeah, well, they said it last episode,
Yeah.
as he was a character that was first named last episode. Ready?
I guess.
Sorry, Glenn.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know
things.
Go.
All right. On three. 1, 2, 3. Well, Bailey has the names right. We have John
I didn't even try for any of the reasons.
Malister. Is that how you say his name? And Thorn?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so now I have to grade essays. This is the longest question ever. Sorry, guys. But
Grade 'em,
anyways,
send them back next time with stickers and scratch and sniff stickers.
John was leading and went north to treat with Mance. Correct on that one. Fought the wildlings and led leader of the Shadow Tower. Yep. And fought the wildlings and had been there for a long time. Basically, yes. Glenn, you get it.
Cool.
Point
Nice.
for Glenny.
Thorn. Fought the wildling. He's a knight. Yep, you're right on that. Thorn is a knight. That is one of the reasons why they say he should be it. He's the oldest ranger. He is.
Yep.
Commander of Eastwatch. Oh, Ben.
Wah, wah.
Sorry.
Bum,
Thorn.
bum, bum,
Oh, the Battle of the Wall.
Fail.
And been fighting the land.
Bullshit.
Special Olympics time. Killed Magnar and led us when the night was darkest. Luke gets a point too.
I'm sticking with bullshit because I got challenged for last week's episode.
Really?
Week's question.
Really? We're
Yep.
still debating that one? Go back and listen to how shittily the question was asked and how there were about 12 answers possible.
There were 3. That's it. 3 answers.
There were more. Anyway.
There's like 57 answers. It literally took up 2 pages of papers. So, it took me about 40 minutes to watch the episode to make sure I got every single one in case there was a question. So anyways, good job. Let's move on. Okay, so we have the opening credits. Peter Dinklage gets the title head. We go to King's Landing, the Erie, Winterfell, the Wall State University, Bravos and Marine.
Wall State.
The Wall State University.
The. So,
I'm a big The fan.
So, not that it's new, I know it's not, but I really like, and I don't know if I've said this before because I have not been very unebriated in the last few episodes, but on Bravos, the coin that trickles down at the title or in like the opening, it's really neat.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than that, it's pretty much the same.
We're
don't you
happy
think?
for that.
We're happy for that.
Reminds me of like a train that goes around a store. It just makes you happy when you go in. You watch the train.
Toy Story, Christmas time.
Toy Story.
Yeah. I like that movie too. All right, let's go over to Bravos. We have Arya, the Titan of Bravos, Bravosi ship captain, Bravosi dockyard peeps, and a cranky old man. Arya arrives in Bravos, and the captain leaves her at the House of Black and White. Arya is turned away by the cranky old man and prays on the steps and throws her coin into the wishing canal out front. I didn't read through that one. That's funny. Let's start with you, Glenn.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so my thought about this whole thing, like the Titan just looks so badass. It's pretty trendy. It just reminds me of, it's like a Statue of Liberty type structure where it's just kind of the first thing you see when you arrive, and it just you know you're there once you hit the Titan. You've arrived at Bravos, and then also Arya kind of says the people on her name, but it seems like a couple people are not on the list anymore. You guys,
There's only 4
yeah.
on her list.
Like I think last season, or maybe the season before, like she had people like Thoros Amir and the Red Woman, Beric Dondarrion on there, and this time around though they weren't mentioned. So maybe she just kind of let it be, or just assume they're dead. I don't know.
Hyphenated the list and all that it implies, etc., etc.
Never mind.
I don't know.
No, they're cool now. Like we're good.
We're good.
I
We're
wasn't
good.
that mad at them.
It's like Billy Madison. I'm glad I called that guy.
Billy Madison off the list.
People I'm going to kill.
Let's go to you, Luke.
I really like seeing Arya kind of get a fresh start here in a new place. I mean, she's pretty much only seen terrible things since Ned's execution, right? I mean, she's just been trying to get to a safe place or getting captured, like over and like all this terrible expedition that she's been unfortunately put into, and she's finally being able to go somewhere where she can kind of do it on her own terms, kind of just a fresh start, and get away from all the hustle and get away from all the bustle.
Hustle and the bustle.
I was really excited for her to make it here. You know, we get to see Jockin again, and like you said, she gets a fresh start, and then it's, you know, knock, knock, knock. No, there ain't no Jockin stay here. ain't no Jockin. Like, I felt like we were watching like Live PD or something, and they're trying to find somebody, and nah, he ain't here.
No.
He's in the back bedroom.
He moved.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Bailey, let's go with yours.
So I have it's more like the House of Brown with some black and white doors.
Yeah, I was also disappointed in the House of Black and White because I had a very clear image in my head of what it was supposed to look like, and that's not at all.
Don't judge a building by
imagining.
the outside.
Luke, there's a good picture of the House of Black and White.
That I
Yeah, dumbass.
Oh, there's also a nice notification here of Abby sending you a Slack message earlier when you were taking your screen caps.
Way to go, Abby.
That was between both of you. I had to delete a few of those. Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. Nope. It's
Kinda.
probably one. Keep going. One more. What my imagination. I made Benji put me in one.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
I know.
Yep.
I'm slowly going to it.
She's slowly as we get through the entire scene, as we ruin the rest of the screen caps for us. Way to go. There it is.
Yeah, that's what you were fucking asking for, right?
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's what I thought. You know, but nah, we got a brown building.
Bubba Husky with the facadeless man. Facadeless man. Yeah, I knew what the word was. I just can't say it.
Facadeless men.
So my only note on this was I did like the line of I have nowhere else to go. You have everywhere else to go. That's very philosophical from this old kindly man to her. It's like, you don't have to be here. You can go anywhere else in the world you want. But really, she has to do the Fight Club initiation. You know, sit outside. You're too fat. You're too dumb. You can't do this. Yeah, that's just kind of my feelings in the rain. And yeah.
I can't wait to use that logic on people. Like, I'm just waiting for the day you have everywhere else to go. I cannot wait for it to come up in real life.
You're
That'll be good.
my only hope.
Especially your kids. Yeah.
I know.
Kids get certain age. I don't have everywhere else to go. You have everywhere else to go. Get the fuck out.
So, let's go see Arya and a pigeon. We got 3 bozos and the kindly old man. Arya kills a pigeon, is bullied by some bozos, and is rescued by a kindly old man who returns her coin and reveals the face of no one. Arya enters the House of Black. Let's start with you, Benji. Talking about pigeons.
Yeah, compared to season 1, episode 10, she's getting a little bit more efficient with killing pigeons. You know, before she had to chase it down, tackle it, rip its head off, and crack it. Now it's just a quick little done.
Hey.
I'm impressed.
Efficient, definitely. Oh, sorry. Let's go with you, Luke. You got about the next.
Yeah, so as we see these bozos kind of picking on Arya, right? They're trying to either get her sword or a pigeon or something else potentially.
A piece of ass.
The old kindly man seems to have some clout around town with these bozos. I mean, he just kind of shows up behind and they turn tail and tuck tail and run away, right? I mean, kind of an interesting introduction for her to that character for what he actually is, I think. I mean, she already can somewhat think back to Jockin Nagar and what he was able to do, but I don't think she necessarily thought that this old man was exactly the same thing. And so she's kind of surprised. It's like, well, I guess he's looking for me. Let's go ahead and follow him.
Better alternative, I guess, here.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn?
Bozos.
Yeah, so this cranky old man tells him to beat it, bozos.
Beat it, bozos.
No, but this old man kind of reminds me of like Murtaugh from from Lethal Weapon. Like it feels like he's at any moment's gonna say something like along the lines of, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
Getting too old for this shit.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, he found the coin.
You think it's
He's
the
a good
same
swimmer.
coin or a new one?
The way he puts it, it seems like the same coin. Like, oh, you dropped this.
Well, yeah, but you would think that'd be just a cool little trick. Hey, I found your coin. We got 40 of them in the back here.
How does he know
There's-
that
no,
he
no,
didn't
no,
drop
that's the
it?
jar. I'm talking about the
There's
tray.
no windows.
The tray is for everyone.
No, the pennies for everyone.
For the blind kids.
Penny stealing motherfucker.
So you know, one of those, just a fraction of that.
Oh, see, we've got.
And Miss Bailey, let's go to you.
So Arya finally finds Jaqen, but is that his real face or is it just another face that he's wearing?
That's a good question.
Yes.
I don't know. Who knows? I'm not cool with all this going on here. I mean, I am kind of, but what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And he's no one. Like, he's jacketed her, like almost a knight in shining armor to her. Besides, like I would say, her immediate family, people who have been kind and loyal to Arya, I feel are like Serial Pharrell and him. And now we show up like he's not even have the face that she thinks he does. He's nobody. I'm a little
Teapot.
yeah, short and stout. That's me actually. Spot on, Luke.
I know my sister.
But yeah, I mean, this is definitely for me very much like what the fuck is going on. I have nothing else to add because again, I don't know. So I'll just drink. Anybody else on the pigeon or Arya or Jaqen?
No. I think it might be time for a Jojen train.
Cool, let's get it going.
Too bad it got derailed last season.
No, it's back. It's back. It's a ghost Jojen train now. All aboard
The ghost of Jojen.
train.
So we are at some inn in the Vale with Brienne, Podrick, a serving girl, Baelish, Sansa, and Mockingbird guards. Lady Brienne of Tarth confronts Microfinger and swears her sword to Sansa. Sansa refuses the Lady Knight's aid. Brienne leaves in a hurry, and the horses are off to the races, chasing her in Pod. Bailey?
I think you really got to admire Brienne's dedication to her vow that she made with Catelyn. She has had so many challenges trying to get these girls and keep them safe, and she doesn't give up.
And like she's not wanted, and she's just like, damn it, all right, keep plugging away until somebody needs her. One of them, I guess.
Someone will say yes eventually.
Yeah, right? Man, shoot.
Looking for someone to save.
Glenn?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Bailey just said. I feel like Brienne's just kind of busting her ass to try to help these girls, and she's just getting headed off at every pass. And then I think Pod says something like, "Hey, since they refuse you, shouldn't you be released from your vows?" And she's like, "No, this is just goes until they're safe." You know. So yeah, it's pretty impressive how dedicated she is.
Yeah, and she's like, "Do you really think Sansa's safe with Littlefinger?" It's like, that's a pretty good call.
That's a good one.
Right. And speaking of Microfinger and him, Luke, let's go with Pod's strong senses.
Yeah, so Pod really seems to kind of see the situation at hand from across the room. I mean, yeah, he's making eyes at the pretty little thing working there at first, right? As she's
She
walking
made eyes
around.
first.
Yeah, his attention has been fully grasped, and
His reputation precedes him.
I guess so. She's watched season 3, but he, from across this whole inn, Dire Pose losing her shit over something. Basically sees Microfinger and Sansa sitting there and can tell exactly kind of what's going on, and this really seems to be like the skill set that he learned as Tyrion's squire. Like he's learned these things, like more like the game aspects, the knowing people aspects, and how that politicking can be beneficial. And Brienne does not have that much. And it's, again, we've said this since they've gotten to be a team. They're a pretty good combo of skills.
They are a good combo. They're like the pretzel peanut butter combo. They're good. But
yeah, that's how I would have put it.
Pretzel and peanut butters, yeah.
Yeah, good combo. So Sansa, I think she's kind of hard to read here because I have no proof, but I think Sansa knows that her safety isn't guaranteed with Microfinger. I think at one point she called him like the enemy versus something to that effect. I don't remember the exact quote. But I think she probably does realize she can't just simply walk out with Brienne here. One, like, she doesn't really know her. But what are they going to do if Sansa just walks up? Like, does she trust Baelish to just let her go? I don't think he would. So I think that, I don't know, because she just kind of looks at her. It just was a weird, hard to read scene. She kind of looks at her, and part of me felt like, well, what she's saying isn't what her body's saying, maybe. And the other thing I like about this scene going on here is there's so many like great character pairings in Game of Thrones, and the broad that's what it is, broad Brienne and Pod
Broad
the broad
Broad spectrum.
pairing.
the pairing, they're just so much fun to watch. I love
Some broad, don't worry about it.
he says there's a bunch. How many is a bunch, Pod? And he's like, I don't know, 10, too many. Well, go saddle up the horses. We only have one horse. Get more horses. I just find it cute and charming. And
More than
I
a
like
few,
them to-
less than a many.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they just very short with each other. I love it. Benj, go ahead.
Brienne, you're a great fighter and you are honorable, but you suck at fucking having tact. You have no just sit back and read the scene and try to play it. But it's one of those situations of, she's very good at knowing what she's supposed to do. It's just how to do it. I think she'll learn a lot from Pod at that instance, like Luke was saying. But it's also nice to see that Pod, up until the split off of the road, he's actually getting better at riding compared to when we first saw him riding along Brienne. Just couldn't even control horse on a slow trot down the King's Road. He's going full speed ahead, getting away until ends up running into a river. And it wasn't even his horse. It was just a horse he grabbed. So I give him credit for that.
Good job, Pod. To King's Landing we go. We have Jaime, Cersei, Bronn, and Lollies.
Yep.
The Lannister twins receive a threat from Dorne. The Golden Lion sets off on a rescue mission to Dorne. Bronn listens to the wedding plans and discusses a future home with his bride-to-be. Jaime enlists Bronn for the Blackwater's help. Bronn of the... Yeah, let me redo that one. Jaime enlists Bronn of the Blackwater's help. There we go. I'm just going to start off here because I like Bronn, and I'm going to jump to the end of the scene, whatever. But is he really the only person in all of King's Landing and the Seven Kingdoms that can help on every single Lannister mission? Just let the man be.
The right-hand man.
God, and he's been it for multiple people. Just let him be. Let him marry her. Have his kingdom. Kill the big sister. Whatever. It's fine. Poor Bronn.
You're saying so he's earned that.
He's earned a break,
he's
a vacation.
It's time for a break.
Yes, it's a retirement. Let him enjoy his golden years.
You figured they would have like multiple people like this. That can do
he's
these.
Only one. We have to travel how far to go
because
get
Jerome
the only one?
Flynn has fucking killed it with this character and made it way more important. That's the only reason.
Well, hey, I'm not. I'm okay with that, I guess.
But you make a good point. It's like really.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Hey, Bronn.
So,
again.
Luke, let's go to you because that starts off where the scene starts off.
The beginning of the scene, I really don't like how Cersei belittles and treats Jaime here. She just consistently kind of, I don't know, makes him look like a total douche. Like she makes him look like an idiot, and she's really not that much smarter, but she thinks she is. And she, like how does he find her attractive? Like with the way she's likely always treated him this way too. And maybe it was different when he had his hand and he could, he was very familiar with his hand and his hair, a sword, and he said, I can do stuff, but I don't know. I just don't like the way she treats him.
It's terrible. It's like you said, how is he in love with her? It's just it's beyond me. I don't know. Whatevs. Glenn, you going on this?
Yeah, so like we just kind of stated, Jamie in a bit of a roller coaster with his relationship with Cersei. I guess this, special ops mission or whatever you want to call it, down to Dorne might be a way for him to kind of right a wrong, if you will, and get on her good side again. Yeah. That's just what I think. I don't know.
No, I think you're probably right. It's just that she's like the squeaky wheel. She just whines and complains until she gets what she wants. So, what a high maintenance. That's what she is. Let's go. Benji, you can go next, I think.
Jamie, maybe Bronn likes the dumb ones. He's smart enough for the both of them, and for as far south as south goes, I guess Jamie doesn't know anything about Sothorios. Just saying. That's the second time now we've heard that term. At first we heard it from Gilly and stuff, but there is a thing south of this goddamn continent.
Well, it's
as far south on this continent goes. I understand. Right. I'm just being pedantic.
I know. I was being more pedantic and semantic. That's also way further east.
Yeah, fair.
It's southeast. It's southeast. It's southeast.
South by southeast.
I've never heard of Sothorios or pedantic. So I'm learning today. Fantastic.
But no, I do like how Bronn is trying to encourage lollies here. Yeah, he's like, girls like that, women, people like that, give what they deserve to them. And basically telling her, I'm gonna kill a bitch, and we're gonna take this castle. So don't you worry your pretty little head.
Yeah, and she's nice. Maybe she'll just be nice to Bronn. Maybe Bronn just wants somebody to be nice. Bailey, I left you for last because you got the best point here. It's just spot on.
So, Bronn's being a typical man. He gives zero fucks about the whole wedding planning, except for getting that big castle.
Yep. It's all like a ways to the end. He doesn't care if he has sunflowers or roses or pigeon pies. Just
eyes on the prize.
They eat those in the capital, don't they? What, love? The fuck are you talking about?
I really identify with lollies here. Oh, we got to do this, and we need this, and I'm gonna paint that. Sure, do whatever you want, honey. Okay, great.
I trust you.
Yeah.
It'll be great because you're the only one that fucking cares.
Huh? All right, let's go see Qyburn, Cersei, Meryn, effin' Trent. Two bozos with a dwarf's head. Two bozos present. I like the way that I'm saying this. Bozo. Two bozos present a severed dwarf head to the queen. Qyburn will put it to use anyways.
You sound so professional saying two bozos.
Two bozos.
I couldn't even get through it without being like, God, I really got to figure out a new way to pronounce it.
Tonight on the 9 o'clock news, two bozos are arrested.
Headlines.
And he came in with two bozos.
Glenn, let's go to you. You got a good one here.
Right. So how many dwarves are going to die during this? Because people are desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. People are going to do anything to make a buck, kind of similar to the Hound bounty, where you put a prize like that, people are they're gonna find dwarves and kill them, take the heads to the capital.
Close enough.
Mm-hmm.
And these two bozos, I guess, are the first victims.
Two bozos. Two bozos. Ben, how do you feel about these bozos?
Yeah, Luke, go back a picture to the head. I feel like the makeup artist did a really good job. It looks exactly like the same dwarf that played Joffrey in the Penny or in the Five King battle at the wedding at
Mhm.
the or the purple wedding. It looks very much like the same guy. So whoever the art department did on that, it's very accurate and looks good.
So I read something online on the season 5 episode 2 stuff, and they said it could possibly be the dwarf who played somebody in the purple wedding scene.
That's what Benji
Yes.
was talking
So he
about. Yeah.
just-
That's
said
what
that.
I believe it's the one who played Joffrey. But I may be getting the Kings wrong.
Oh,
It's
I
either
wasn't
the
even
Joffrey.
fucking listening.
Yeah,
Who
it's either
fucking
the
knows?
Joffrey
Sorry.
or the Stark
You
or the
just
Rob
fucking
Stark
said that.
knight. Yeah.
That was his
I'm
main
sorry.
point.
That was his whole fucking point. Gotcha. I stopped listening and tried to start reading the next notes to see who gets to go first after they did a good job finding somebody that looks like, and then I stopped and I started reading something else. We'll just edit that out. Sorry, folks. Luke or Bailey, both of you.
Take it, Bailey.
Go ahead.
Kyber not even trying to hide his excitement at having a spare dwarf head to play with. He's just, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean that's almost exactly what I was. I would take it
I'll take
if
it.
you don't mind. It could prove useful for my work.
Thanks, bozos.
Appreciate your help, bozos. If you have any more,
Thank you, bozos.
Much
So-
appreciation to the bozo clan.
I'm having a hard time deciding if I
Bozo.
like Kyburn or if I think that he's like bad. I don't really know because part of me thinks like he's probably some brilliant medical researcher, and the other part of me feels like he's Joseph. I cannot say his last name. Mengele.
Mangala.
Mangala. Yes. There you
Mengele.
go. So I think there's a fine line that you draw here. And obviously, what's his name? The old dude who acts like he's old and stupid, but
GMP.
yep, doesn't believe that he's a good researcher kind of guy. But I'm not really taking his word. I don't trust him.
He
So
could also be an H.H. Holmes type. Just putting that out there.
I don't get it.
And that's fine. You can look him up. I'm glad I'm the only one here that gets that, unless because I can't see if you're nodding along. But
I don't know who that is. I literally had to look up the Nazi doctor's name. That's
Yeah.
how I got his name because I was
Yeah.
like, I know there's like that Nazi
no,
doctor.
that's
guy,
very
terrible.
apt. That's very apt.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a, bland, basic, very basic person here. Don't have original ideas. All right, are we ready to move on?
I think so.
All right, we have Cersei, Kyburn, Mace Tyrell, GMP. Is it pronounced like Kevin?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin? Mick
Come on.
Lannister.
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin
McLannister.
McLannister.
Kevin!
Cersei meets with her council as Tommen's advisor. Mace is named Master of Coin. Kyburn is named Master of Whispers. Kevin is named Master of War. And Kevin balks at her authority and goes home alone.
Home Alone reference in there for you for Kevin
Kevin goes
McLannister.
home alone.
In the latest Game of Thrones news, there was a trade, and I think maybe Gertie has been traded from Team Tywin to Team Kevin.
I heard that in the rumors. I didn't know if that had gone
Yeah.
through yet.
I mean, I saw it on your Twitter, so Glenn, if you could do the news and get the news off of Luke's Twitter page, that'd be great. Gertie is now on Team Kevin.
Team Kevin. What did I do?
Mick Lannister. Yes.
Kevin
McLannister.
Yes. Talk about Kevin McLannister, Glenn.
Sure. So, Cersei really reminds me of the Wet Bandits here, as Kevin McLannister is just not putting up with her bullshit. Kind of like how Kevin McAllister didn't put up with the Wet Bandits bullshit.
So I thought it was more like the John Candy character.
The John.
See, yeah, it was more Kevin McAllister not putting up with his family's bullshit. Screw you! I don't even do Christmas with you.
I felt like GMP was trying to be a real Buzz. Buzz's girlfriend. Woof.
Fuller, what's the bed?
Oh my
He had
goodness.
Pepsi.
The only thing I remember about those movies is when he like glides across.
Zip line.
Yeah, man, I've always wanted one ever since. So, binge.
Where are we at? All Kevin needed to grow some balls was just have Tywin kick the bucket. You know, I'm the man now, bitch. I'm going back to Castle Rock, and I do not bow to your authority and all that shit. Yeah, he grew some balls finally because he's always been kind of a pussy behind Tywin, just a yes man to him. But now he doesn't need to. He's the patriarch of the family at this moment.
I
Yeah, I
really
mean-
don't look at him as finally growing balls. I feel like he probably always had some, but like didn't really need to show him off at all because he completely agreed with Tywin. I mean, it was probably like they were doing things the exact same way either way, and he knew the
and fair.
sacrifices that Tywin had to make to even make their family worth anything.
And that's
Back
fair.
in the
I
day.
was using that growing some balls in Cersei's mind because she's never had to see Kevin stand up to Tywin, and she thought he would just
Sure,
bow
I
to
think
her
that's fair.
yeah, she thought he would bow to her like he did to Tywin all the time.
That I'm with you.
Perfect. Let's keep talking about him. Let's go to Bailey here.
He gets off a pretty awesome line with "You were the queen mother, nothing more." Just Cersei's reaction is not
I
impressed.
feel like this is what it's been the whole time. I mean, we're in season 5 now. It's the first time somebody said this to her.
Mhm.
Hero of the day. Luke,
Yeah,
last for you?
right along with that. We'll finish up Kevin McLannister when he's like, I don't recognize your authority to tell me where my place is or what I should be doing, and like he just like keeps saying like, well, I would like to hear it from the king himself because you're just the queen mother, nothing more. Awesome line. But the faces of Mace here are amazing. I love Mace Tyrell here when she names him. I don't know if there's the first one. It's just this one here. But when she names him Master of Coin, he's like so pleased with himself. He's like,
I do declare.
like wow, I sure am doing a good job. Go #Team Tyrell. Like he's doing nothing though. He's just kind of being brought along because they need their family's money. Like he's not doing anything. As we know, the Queen of Thorns really runs the show, but she lets him feel like he does certain things. Just his face when she's
important.
like, in addition to being Master of Ships, I'm also going to name you, or the king also wants you to be named, Master of Coin. And he's just like, oh, really?
Yeah, well, that was right after he had said, "Well, I will gladly become master or hand of the king." In
provisionally,
the stead.
yeah.
Yeah, and
we
all
won't
that
have
shit.
time. We have this wonderful opportunity we think you'll be so great for. Okay.
We're happy for you.
We're happy for you. We are.
So now we're not going anywhere. We're going to talk about T Public, not Public Tea. It's called T Public. You can get T-shirts there. Anybody else want to
You can get
elaborate on how to
T-shirts
find
there.
our
Get a t-shirt. Get a t-shirt too.
You can
It
get.
doesn't have anything else written except for T Public. I will tell you, I just bought my T-shirt there today for House Condescension. If you want to get one too and show all the rest of these bozos over here,
Bozo.
a raven sitting atop an up-pointed black chevron is far more fashionable. Support me. Buy my shirt, not theirs. Luke, take it away with the actual facts.
Well, currently you can't buy mine or Glenn's because we've been issued a
Yes!
copyright
A
infringement on something that we've created. So hopefully you guys get some numbers before Glenn's house dog sigil runs away with the overall numbers.
And I will be back in a few.
Okay. Yeah, you can get T-shirts, hoodies, all sorts of different clothing options. There's onesies for babies, which is awesome. There's wall tapestries.
Get
There's
hats.
phone cases. There are no hats.
There are tote bags, though.
There are tote
Everybody
bags.
Oh,
loves
you
a
could
good
put
There's
one on
tote-
your head if you wanted to.
So take the tote bag, put on your head. It's a hat.
Yeah.
There you go. They've got mugs,
Also,
all sorts of stuff.
the book
and
Could
it's
be a
got-
hat.
also, yeah, the notebook could be a hat. There you go. But yeah, check it out at tpublic.com/stay imaginary. I think that's what it is. Just go to our website, thepodcast.com/support us, and click on the TeePublic link today.
All right, let's go to the Water and Gardens of Dorne.
Bunch of bozos.
Madge, give us the scoop.
I told the beat it, bozo.
I put those in there because I knew you'd appreciate the bozos.
Bozo, just anybody else that's just kind of a bad guy, I guess, or is somebody like doesn't do anything. There's in the
Just sounds like a clown to me.
Bozo the clown.
Sounds like Bozo the clown.
I don't know. So again, we're going to be at the Water Gardens of Dorne. We have Illyria Sand,
Ilaria.
We have a lot of vowels.
Ario Hota.
I would like to buy a vowel.
Ario Hota, and the Prince of Dorne.
Prince Duran is his name. Doran.
Duran? Oh
Yeah.
my
Duran.
God,
Doran.
Jesus. Doran. Sure. Duran of Doran.
Yeah.
Got it. How the fuck did you just say her name? Illyria? No.
Ilaria.
Ilaria.
No, you're talking about.
Ilaria demands an audience with Dr. Okay, somebody just read this shit
Oh,
for
Bench
me.
is not even here. Bench is the one that's going to appreciate that. Ilaria demands an audience with Dr. Bashir, a.k.a. the Prince of Dorne. Abby.
Sure. And expresses her disappointment with Doran's lack of action.
So the actor also played Dr. Bashir in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that's why I put Dr. Bashir in there, because people that know it would get that.
Yes, it made me chuckle.
Good.
I don't get it. Never seen it. Anyways, let's go with you, Glenn.
Yeah, so this Duran guy, he just seems very calm and reserved, and not so much hungry like the wolf.
Hungry like the wolf.
That's all.
Sound.
That's all I really have.
That's why I went to, because it was great. I love it. Benj.
I get her anger, but Oberyn knew the risk, and his cockiness is what got him killed, not the Lannisters. Sorry, it's kind of a screwed up thing with how it went down. He wanted the truth. He got the truth, but he paid for it. So it's over. Sorry, Illyria. Go back to Dorne, hang out there, and live your life.
I don't get her anger. Like, they have to take vengeance for him, though, because it's not like the Lannisters attacked them. He chose to be in this fight. I don't really understand why she's so angry, but yeah, she's a problem for sure. Definitely a problem. Luke?
It's funny that you say that, because I watched the commentary today, and it was with Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Dan Portman, and Gwendolyn Christie. So Jamie, Brienne, and Pod. One of the best commentaries I've seen. They were hilarious. It was really, really worth watching. But when they got to this scene, Jamie was like, I don't get what's going on here. Like, she saw him in the fight, like, choosing to fight for Tyrion. Like, he was just like talking through. He was just like, I don't understand, like, what the issue is here. Like,
Yeah.
like, and he could have won. Like, he could have just finished the mountain and been done with it. But
it was a choice to be over the top.
Right. It was just, it was funny because, yeah, it's a little questionable.
It just doesn't make sense.
But I do like the Prince of Dorne's line, he was my brother long before he was anything to you. Like, get it. I get it. You're upset. Trust me, it means a lot to me. I just don't show my cards as quickly as you do. Like, all you're doing is saying, hey, I have cards. Let's throw them out on the table.
Let's flip them off.
Like, you have to be kind of reserved and a little bit more calculating. And I feel like we get a little bit of that from
You got to
him.
know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
Bailey, finish us up here.
Mine kind of goes along with Luke's, that he gets off a lot of good lines. He also says, we do not mutilate little girls for vengeance, not here, which harkens back to something similar that we heard in a previous season, I believe from Oberyn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
One other note: anybody else impressed on the casting of Aryo Hota? You know,
Oh, yeah.
he just a big bad motherfucker right there that no one's gonna mess with.
And the Longstaff axe looks
Mhm.
awesome.
It does
Yeah.
look pretty cool.
I don't see it.
Pretty dope.
As, you can kind of see
Go
it.
to the end of it.
Okay, when he's. Oh,
Yeah,
Damn
no.
it, I thought I had one.
Nope.
I apologize.
Next episode.
But yeah, Alexander Siddig also very well cast, and who is Prince Doran, and for how much people fell in love with Oberyn, I feel like they've done a really good job with this casting to make it. I could buy it that they look like brothers, and I'm pretty sure that like a part of his prepping, he would have watched,
Yeah.
the way Oberyn was played, and kind of crafted his character to follow suit, at least dialect. I mean, like the way he's speaking and things like that. So I thought it was pretty well done.
I believe he's his brother. Like, believable. It's not. It's
Well,
good.
After they recorded everything, they did adopt each other as brothers legally.
Well,
so
That's really nice.
Thank
Bringing
God.
families home.
it's just nice to see when that
That's real
happens.
good. So we are going to Marine with Dario 2.0, Grey Worm, a song of the harpy. Just saying. I didn't read that wrong.
A song of ice and harpy.
I saw that earlier and I didn't fix it because I don't always like being wrong.
This is a song of harpy.
We have Daenerys, Mosador,
Sure.
Barristan, and the crew. Dario shows Grey Worm how frightened men think and takes the sun prisoner. The Dragon Queen meets with her council and on what to do with the captive. Barristan implores the need for a trial. And Mossy Boots over there begs for
Mossy
swift,
Boots.
Moss in boots.
yeah,
Awesome.
begs,
Moss and boots
begs
and
for
moss.
swift justice. Anybody else think the Son of the Harpies look a little bit like their masks look a little bit like Goldar?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Yeah.
Little Power Rangers reference there for you.
Yeah, I think it might look a little bit like it. I don't know.
Have we seen Rita Repulsa yet in the show? I feel like we have.
I'd say Maggie.
I could
She'd be a good
Maggie the
Rita.
Frog. I could buy that.
Yeah, that could be good. I don't know. You need some like strappy, very awkward things to have on a kid's show for her to be wearing. I don't know. Let's go with you, Miss Bailey.
I think that Daenerys gets a really big reality check here, and her conversation with Barristan opens her eyes and gives her some perspective on how she's been ruling.
The biggest thing about their conversation that they had, I didn't realize that Dany, because she says, remind me about my enemy's lies. Did Dany not think that the Mad King or her father was as terrible as he was?
No, she didn't. She
Mm-mm.
Really?
I mean, she really only would have had Viserys' perspective on it outside of Jorah, potentially, but he wasn't really around it. He would have had more hearsay things. This is why Barristan's such a valuable asset to her, because he has a lot of one-on-one,
Right.
direct, first, credible source kind
Again,
of insight.
With Dany here, I feel like it's another time where I feel like, hold on, wait. Like, it's such common knowledge to us as a watcher. Like, the Mad King was the Mad King and a terrible person. I forget that she doesn't have the information we do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it just was enlightening to me.
And-
Go ahead, Benj.
Oh, I was gonna say to your point, I'll go into mine. But one note that I don't think we ever get in the show, but I do like. I wish they would have added it was Barristan telling Dany that with the Targaryens, it was always a coin flip from the gods. You'd either become a great ruler or you become insane. Your brother apparently fell like your father. Your elder brother, was more on the right side of the coin, and I think you could be on the right side of the coin. That's why he follows her. But he's given her sound advice, and I do like the sly mention of Brandon and Rickard Stark, among others. He doesn't say who was burned because she thinks the Stark says, oh, they're probably the usurpers, this and that and this and that. But he does mention that, a son had to watch his father burned in the Great Hall, and as a watcher, we know who he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked that out because I was going to, and then I saw that you put it, and I was like, all right, I could look for something else.
What'd you find, Luke? On with you.
Kind of something that you guys were already touching on. I like that, Barry gives Danny some truths about how corrupt and villainous a ruler can pretty easily become. It's one thing to always, go for justice, but you have to make sure that you're still doing it the right way. Because exactly what Benji was just saying, even if you feel like you're doing the right thing, there's still a wrong way of doing the right thing, if that's what you believe. Like that's what the Mad King did to the old Starkman, and it's just like you said, eye-opening for her on perspective on her father, and also I feel like she grows here to learn that the trial is probably really necessary. You can't just always have such a swift judgment. You got to have a fair chance for him to just kind of tell his side of the story.
Well said, Glenn.
Yeah, I think like the main theme, I guess, is Danny's is really struggling to change the culture of this new area, because it just seems like she wants to do her thing, and then everybody else just has their way of doing the same thing or whatever, and they're saying, oh, we need to do this with the captive. Well, we need to do this. Well, that's not how it works around here, and so it's been a real struggle for her to try to change the way of the road, so to speak.
Struggle like a muggle. Poor Danny. I don't know. No, you're right though. Like just a bad situation she's in. Anybody else about Danny and her choices here? Nothing? Go on the road? Down the road to Volantis?
We're on the road to Volantis, off to see the Dragon Queen. Sorry.
I don't know that, but cool.
It's Road to Rhode Island. Peter Griffin, Stu Griffin and Brian. They did these Road to wherever songs.
Road to Rhode Island.
As soon as I saw Luke's note of Road to Volantis, it made me think of that. So I'm going to write something.
Well, you did great. And we got through that one. That's perfect. I had no idea why this was bolded up top. That was very good. Very good showmanship. 10. We have Varys and Tyrion. Varys and Tyrion sit in their large, comfortable box talking about leadership and advising rulers. I mean, that I didn't know they had camper vans. I mean, it looks like a pretty nice way to travel. Why weren't the kings traveling in these? I mean, they had tiny little boxes. This is like grandeur. The curtains on these things.
Winnebago.
And the screens. I mean,
Looks pretty comfy.
It's a double wide right here.
Yeah. Man, I mean, how deep are Varys' pockets?
I think this is coming from Illyrio. His pockets.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
His caravan, if you will.
Well, shoot, they need to get over there and learn how to travel in a box. Show
Box
that up
travel.
in Westeros. Yep. Luke, Benj, anybody?
Go ahead, Luke.
Are we really going to discuss? Are we really going to spend the entire trip to Volantis discussing the futility of everything? You're right. No point. It's just hilarious. Like, yeah, there's no point talking about how everything's
Right.
it's all futility. I loved it. That was a great line.
I think the best line was, she should have offered her cunt. The best part of her for the best part of me.
For the reward on the dwarves' heads.
For the reward on the dwarves says, yeah.
That's pretty funny. Glenn?
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. Varys kind of at one point says to Tyrion, like, you were pretty good at ruling when you were in that position. Like, you did a pretty goddamn good job. And I don't think no one's really like said that to Tyrion, before. And I think he liked doing what he was doing, but he just kind of got cast aside once Tywin kind of came in, and no one was really appreciative of what he had done. And I think Varys just kind of gives him like a thumbs up, like a Good job.
Boy.
Right.
Give him the credit where the credit's due. Bailey, you got anything on Varis and their big box?
Not really. Nothing stood out to me in this scene besides what everybody's already touched on.
Perfect. Then let's go to the wall. Oh,
We're happy for
scrolling
Wall.
far too much. So we have Shireen, Gilly, CM, Queen, Celise, John, Stannis, Davos. This is kind of a lot of
You
scenes
name her
here.
Queen Celise, but not King Stannis. That's just kind of rude. You know, just saying.
I mean, I didn't write these notes. I'm just
I know.
reading verbatim, like the Song of the Harpy. So we have Shireen teaches Gilly her letters, and Sam learns about young Lord Commanders, and they discuss grayscale. Celise disapproves of Shireen spending time with a wildling, and Stannis makes John an offer of a lifetime in exchange for the North. Anybody want to start off here?
Sure, I'll start off.
Hey,
I think I'll take this. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, take it.
Go for it.
So Shireen talking about her grayscale and Gilly's experience, like with her sisters having it, is pretty heartbreaking. And I don't know, it sounds like they kind of turned into monsters and animals, and I don't know. It sounds like it could have been a lot worse for old Shireen here. Well, not old Shireen, but older than she would have been if they didn't stop the grayscale, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
How did they stop the grayscale?
We don't really know. I mean, we just know that she says some macers showed up when she was little, and they, I guess, stopped it. I think that's all she really says.
Put some preparation H on or something.
Yeah, preparations
And
A through G were complete failures.
Preparation H.
I feel like this is the first time I think you guys told me it was called grayscale. I think this is the first time that the show has like made any mention of her face, like what's on it or what it is. True, not true?
I think you might be right. Maybe
so.
Celise mentioned it once, but like in like the first, like in the second season or so when we first met her and Shireen. But I think you're right. I think this is the first time it's been named.
Yeah, I don't know. It just it seems like it's a very bad disease that she's the only, well, I mean, one we know, we have a limited point of view that has survived it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, most children automatically die from it within a short time period. Adults last a bit longer.
I think
That's
they did
sad.
say something about her getting proactive or something like that.
Yeah,
monthly
it's
shipments.
dermatologist approved.
Right.
Created by dermatologists.
Life before
Adam-
proactive and life after proactive.
You get one of those microbead brushes that come,
Right.
those charcoal brushes.
Adam Levine had it, and then
See,
he used proactive, and now he doesn't.
Shireen was a
have it.
really
He
big
just did
Maroon
it.
5 and 6 fan. Maroon 5 and
Maroon
6.
Get
Patty
outta
roll.
here. Oh my
Patty roll.
gosh. Y'all are too much. Benj, have you gotten your point off here?
No, mine kind of goes into later in the scene, but that's a hell of an offer. And honestly, he would be stupid not to take it. Just knowing that Thorne could easily get elected and would be in charge, and his life is basically forfeit. Thorne's already said, when I'm in charge, I'm going to want you dead. You're a traitor to the Night's Watch, this and that, and he'll have final say, and he could have it done. So John turning down or, like not taking Stannis at his offer is kind of a dumb move. No, I shouldn't say dumb move. It's honorable, and it's what he feels is right. But you got to think long term here, kid.
Then hey, let's go right over to Bailey. She's talking about the same
Yeah.
things.
I respect John for wanting to turn down the offer because of his vows to the Night's Watch, and he has made a prior commitment and wants to see that through.
True. Anybody care?
Abby, stop messing with your microphone.
Am I? Sorry, buddy. I won't touch it anymore.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. But we're gonna go.
I do have one
more.
more note on
Go for it.
Stannis. Whenever he says, if you have too much kindness, they don't fear you. If they don't fear you, they won't follow you.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like Stannis like to a T right there.
Right.
Like that seems,
And it does.
You know, it does. Thanks, Glenn.
You're
Glenn approved.
110% right.
I only need to be 100% right because over than that, not possible.
My note on this one, I like how intrigued Sam gets whenever, because he was like studying the books, you know, hitting the books pretty hard.
Stark.
Ostrich Stark. And they started talking about their grayscales and their, dermatologist, stuff. And you see Sam kind of take a break and kind of almost eavesdrop and kind of not really say anything, but become a part of the conversation, at least listening wise, because he's very intrigued about what this is, grayscale. A lot of people probably don't know a whole lot about grayscale, so I think he's just trying to learn. You got to learn.
Yeah. Anybody else feel Celise is kind of being a bitch here about this stuff? I mean, is there any redeeming quality of her saying stay away from the wildlings?
No, there's none.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's
Just put
fitting.
it out there.
It makes sense for her character. I mean, that they all believe that the wildlings, the free folk, are terrible savages that shouldn't be here. I mean, it's really only like John and a few people that even accept them as normal people. Like,
But her
seems
husband's
very
one of them, you know?
Yeah, but they also don't agree on a lot of things.
What
I think we've seen.
What are the signs saying? Free folk lives matter.
This should.
I'm not
Love
touching that.
Shireen. I love Shireen, number one. I'm just going to change the subject. I'm going to start talking. Shireen is super cute. And then her and Gilly together, love them. They're super sweet. What I took out of this scene, though, was I really like and I enjoy watching Gilly and Sam together. Sam is so superior to most people when it comes to knowledge or knowledge seeking or what he knows. But what I love about them is that they're equals. Sam does not just only do as Gilly allows. We saw that in the battle when he's like, I didn't mean literally in the same room with you. Like, I have to go do this. And he goes and does what he has to do. And Gilly doesn't let Sam, walk all over her because he's this smart intellect. And they both respect each other because there are strengths that they each have. And I also like that Gilly isn't so put off by not her knowledge. I know S. Like, what the fuck do you want from me, motherfucker? Like, I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
dude
but
you're
I can light a
talking about.
fire in the middle of a fucking snowstorm.
Yeah.
You'll freeze to death. So
Right. So keep reading your books, honey. It's kind of condescending a little bit for both of them, I guess. But I do feel like they treat each other kindly and equally. So takes all kinds of kinds, folks. Anybody else? Do you want to, what's her name? Celise bash anymore?
She sucks.
I could get down on some of that. She's ugly. Her hair sucks.
She's
out
a
of
total
fashion.
biatch.
Yeah, totally. Perfect. All right. Get that out of our system. So we are going to go to the Men of the Night's Watch. Some nominees are named, some words are spoken, and some votes are cast. Jon Snow is elected the 998th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Ba 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 ba. 3 cheers. Anybody? Let's start with Bailey here.
I love Sam's burns. It's not something that I think anybody else expected to come from Sam. And they're all kind of shocked at what he's saying, so it's just a good scene.
It makes it even more poignant, the points he's making.
Yeah, we should listen to Jaina Slint here. I found him cowering at the base of the wall with a babe and a female wildling.
No, he
just calling his ass out.
Because Slint was like, "Oh, there's Sam the Slayer. How's your wildling girl?" And Sam's like, "Her name's Gilly."
Know. Yeah.
Lord Slint knows her well.
Yeah.
I found him
cowering,
and while
with
Lord Janus was fighting with the women and children
in a pool of his own making.
Yeah, in a pool.
That is great.
They're all lies.
Sam with fucking balls of steel. Like I love it.
Yeah.
And he's
Hey,
just
fuck
so
you, buddy.
jolly. during all of it. He never gets defensive or angry sounding. I mean, he's just jolly, like, oh, these
Right.
happenings.
Very matter of fact.
My
Oh,
counterpoint.
it's so cute. Yes. Oh, you might be strong, but I'm really fucking smart. And I'm about to destroy you. He's the best. Luke, there you go. You're right after this. You've already said it. I'm pretty sure somebody said
Yeah,
this.
I already said it. Sam
You
with
said it.
with balls of
Yep.
steel and
Balls
ice.
of- Yes. Benj.
So my note on this, because after I figured I'd let you guys all talk about Sam, that I gotta feel bad for Dennis Malster, because if you look at the total amounts for the votes as it comes down, he had maybe 4 or 5 votes, and then John and Thorne are equal. You'd think almost all the ones that voted for John were probably going to vote for Mallister, and he probably would have ended up beating Thorne. He probably more so than it would have broken even. I think it would have been a lot closer of a battle, and I think Mallister probably could have pulled it off. So just hindsight, it could have easily been won by him in the long run.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a full sale. Everyone that voted for John was gonna. I think I'm sure it's split.
Well, that's what
I think a lot of those votes were probably gonna go to Thorne.
I think Davos said, Thorne's gonna win. So I
think
everyone
Thorne
just
was
kinda
the clear
assumed.
favorite. In the way that the show is portraying it, it seemed like it was going to be a landslide for him. Even though
Fair.
Mallister seems like a good option, but I don't think it was a realistic option.
No, fair. It was just one of those. Like I just thought, if all those ones, if John wasn't in, they did
Yeah,
go to
possibly.
Mallister. Hey,
yeah.
You're just voting to
I think-
not let
Thorne.
win.
Exactly.
I think in my note, I mentioned that we could probably call him Mallister Perot.
The third party
He's like the Ross Perot of the Night's Watch. But
He's from the Shadow Party.
the Shadow Party. All right, yeah. So I guess I'll take it away with my note. Sam, the campaign manager, I think he has like one of the more compelling, things to say about his candidate. Not that the other people didn't have a compelling, stories and stuff like that, but I think his was just really compelling.
He really sold.
Really
he sold well.
Sold well, and then Eamon with the swing vote.
Yeah, and also chuckling whenever Sam is making his jokes. I like that he chuckled along with it.
My note on here was it's a great scene all the way throughout. I think it's definitely one of the best scenes you get to see of the Night's Watch just being brothers or whatever. But then at the end, you see Maester Aemon. He just steals the show. He's like, oh, wait. Oh, silly me. I forgot to vote. Shoot. Jon Snow, it's you.
John really seems to accept this pretty readily, doesn't he? Like he's just kind of at first he looks at Sam and he's like, don't do it. He's like kind of shaking his head like, don't do it. But once he's named it, it seems like he's kind of like, all right,
Okay, whatever.
seems
We'll
pretty
see
cool.
how this goes.
Like, it seems all right.
Sure.
I'm down. Are we ready for a final scene?
Final
Scenes. Final scenes. Cheers.
Take the
Everybody?
Jojen boat back across the.
It's
across
totally
the-
empty.
This is why you need a ready bag of booze.
The ready bag of
So-
booze.
Jen.
Cheers.
The ghost of
All
the
right,
Jojen
somebody
train.
please tell me how to say this guy's name so I don't have to keep
Massador.
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 Some-
All right, so
some
we have
random kid.
Massador.
Some random kid.
Mossy Boots.
Mossy
Massador.
Boots.
Friedman.
You can call him Mossy Boots.
Massikins.
Yeah.
Friedman.
Mossy kids. Freedmen, son of the Harpy, Danny and crew. Massador kills the imprisoned master. Danny sentences Massador to death for undermining her rule of law. Glenn, we're gonna start with you here.
So some random kid probably had the right call, but it just kind of undermines Danny. Not saying that they shouldn't do this, but it's not Danny doing it. So I think that's why she gets all pissed off, because even though he kind of acted on himself and not over her, so even if she agreed, he did things out of line by not kind of getting her good graces to do this or whatever. So I think that's why she's gonna be pissed off.
Benj.
So surprisingly from Danny, this is the right call. Law is the law. You know, she said he will not be harmed. He will stand trial. And Massador negated that. He took it into his own hands. Sorry, we don't do vigilantism. That's the right call.
Luke?
I agree with Benji.
Abby? I agree with your agreed. Bailey, do you have anything else to add to this?
I agree with your agreed of his agreed.
All in agreement. We shall move.
I agree.
Benefit be the
I
first
agree with
to take
Orson
notes on
Johnson.
this.
About Marshall Johnson being right. Thanks,
Glenn,
Orson
you were
Johnson.
the last. We would have agreed with you first, but you know. We have freed slaves, former masters, Danny and crew. Massador is brought to the chopping block and is executed as an example to all that law is law. Rocks are thrown, riots ensue, and the queen is led back to the pyramid. Sorry, I haven't read through these. Bench?
So, unlike the last scene, this is not the right call. Listen to his Dar and Dario. It should just been done in the pyramid. Take his head off. If you need to set, let him know. Put his head on a spike. But you don't need to make a show of it of this whole thing in front of everyone.
We're gonna go to the arrow points here. We'll go with Luke here.
Surprisingly, almost also agree. Almost agree. And also, she needs a PR manager for sure.
Yeah.
This is
a PR nightmare.
This is a PR. They're going to be getting tweets about this for months.
Oh god.
No, like it's close. I don't think she makes the wrong choice by doing this publicly. I think the staging of it and how long it's drawn out really kind of amps up the sympathy for this person who's been sentenced to death for a crime. Like, she kind of hesitates too long, like, because she's showing her weakness in a very public state. She should have shown her strength and belief in the law. I agree with it being a public thing. I think it could have been done better.
Let's go with you, Bailey.
I don't think it needed to be a public event, but the precedent definitely needed to be set that people need to follow Danny's law, and if not, there's going to be a consequence.
Glenn?
Yeah, so in reference to the hissing, it sounds like steam escaping.
So you hear
The second
I don't know,
reference
a train
in a row.
steam?
Bunch of
I don't really
tea
know.
kettles going off.
Well, it's
Hold on.
it's another reference to Blazing Saddles.
Oh. I only ever saw that movie when I was like 7, which I think is highly inappropriate.
You're
Way to go, Grandpa.
You're probably due to watch it again then.
I
Yeah.
think you are.
With the hissing, as soon as that started, I thought it was a very effective way of making one feel like they're in danger. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like thousands and thousands of voices doing that.
The Nightman cometh.
This isn't cool. Not normal. All right, you ready for our final scene?
Final scene.
Final scene. Okay, so we have chink, 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 cheers and chinks. Wow, that's bad. Mother of Dragons. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that at all. I'm really sorry.
Just
Okay,
move past it.
we have Mother of Dragons and Drogon, right? The big bad dragon
Drogon.
stops by for a minute and swiftly pieces out.
He gone.
Double deuce. The only thing I have on this, guys, is that if you're a crocheter like me, I know, hard to believe, totally crafty. It looks like a crocodile stitched crocheted blanket. I don't know. That's it. That's all I thought about during that. Benj?
He's looking pretty badass, and I love the added facial expressions that the CGI people put in. Just when he's like sniffing Danny, like you can see him got the recognition, like you would see from your dog or something when they see you and sniffing you. Like he's showing a personality from just being an animal. It's the first time really we've seen them do anything like that between Ghost or Nymeria or any of the dogs or Summer or anything like that. This is the first time we see an animal showing some sort of emotional connection.
Bailey?
I think Drogon looks a lot like Smaug here.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. There's a lot of similarities in the face of the dragon.
Like the facial jaw structure looks highly similar. And you had said that to me when we were kind of watching it last night, and I was like, when did this come out? And that movie, Desolation of Smaug, came out in 2013, right? Is that what we saw?
15.
So this was 2 years
Yeah,
later. So it's
Smaug.
plenty of time for them to take some influences on.
Can we borrow your dragon?
Can we?
They just called up. Oh God, not Eddie Redmayne. Who's the actor that played
Oh,
Smaug?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
they just called up
Benedict, come on,
Benedict.
but
It's like, hey, you want to be on Game of Thrones? Let's use your face really quick.
it was funny.
Pookie Pookie?
During the
Oh, sorry,
commentary, they also made jokes because Gwendolyn Christie was like, "So these are real. This is a real dragon, right?" And Dan Portman was like, "Yeah, they. I think they got a couple from the zoo and just to rent for like a day or two, and then they took it back." And he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. This was like one of those big pantomime horses. There's actually just 3 guys in this suit making it all work." Daniel Portman killed. Definitely check out the commentary. It was hilarious. It was so funny. He's like, "There's just 3 guys in this big suit flying this thing."
3 guys.
What was your role on the episode? I was the dragon's ass.
Well, it sucks whenever
I'm imagining this costume
being the
being
ass and the guy that
incorporated
farts in the.
I'm imagining this costume being incorporated onto a hang glider.
Yeah.
It's but like
It's a big green ball, yeah. On a hang glider.
I don't know.
But Danny's love for her dragon and longing, like here, is really reminiscent to kind of the bittersweet nature of parenting. Like I know I've experienced it. Of like, hey, you don't really want them to grow up. Like all you want them to do is grow up, but then they keep fucking growing up, and you're like, would you fucking knock it off? Like I want to just enjoy you like this because you don't suck yet. And then they continue to keep sucking and getting worse. No, I'm kidding you. They grow and become different, and I think she's portraying that feeling very, very accurately. I related to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the feeling, when you're, a parent and you're like, God, I want you to just talk so I know what you want. And then you're like, Jesus, I
Stop
just want you to
talking.
shut up.
No, or like, oh, he took his first step, and then the next 10,000, you're like, stop,
Slow down.
God damn it.
Exactly.
Oh man. I'm not going to talk about parenting right now with you folks. Glenn, you have anything non-parenting related?
Yeah. I mean, I guess this scene, like, there's been just a lot of stressful things that have taken place with like Danny and like a lot of decisions, stuff like that. That who knows what's gonna come of it, but and I guess Drogon coming down was just kind of like a stress reliever, if you will, or whatever. And I think it was Benji that had just kind of like a good way that they incorporated like the emotional attachment to the dragon.
Mm-hmm. But and she's like she's been forcibly denying herself the use of the dragons, right? I mean, she's chained up the other 2. She can't control this one, and so like this, I think stress relief was like, hey, Drogon came and found me, and just kind of like checking in. Hey, Mom, I'm doing fine. It's all good.
Gonna kill a couple kids
And I think she needed that because she has been going
and a
through
couple lambs.
a lot of really, really difficult situations. Some have been caused by Drogon, but she forgives. Like she doesn't like hold him accountable for that.
Right, because he's a dragon.
he's a baby dragon.
He's a dragon.
I'm the dragon.
I'm the dragon.
Don't release the dragon.
Oh my god.
Where's my dragon?
Where are my dragons?
Where's my Dario?
All right, Dario, dragon lovers over there. We are going to talk about the episode title accuracy, the House of Black and White.
We got there.
I mean, we
saw
went
it.
there.
The doors of black and white.
The doors of Black
Yeah.
and White would have been better.
I
And
mean,
there was a whitish robe.
I
And actually, the guy was black. The first
yes.
The next guy was
So
white.
that was it, right?
You're right. Accurate. Cha-ching.
Um,
Perfect.
I don't know. Like it seems like a lot of the episodes that like titles they try to incorporate like more, themes throughout the episode. Like what was that one with like the two swords or something like that?
Yeah.
Like
They
this
kinda
one,
got
this
away from
one, House of Black and White.
Well-
That's what it is. Like I don't know where
I think in season 4 is when they kind of got away from that, and they just picked one thing. Because even last
unless you
episode
want
we
to talk
talked
about
about that.
like ethics of black and white and Danny and Marine with things aren't always black and white and they're great. No, I'm just kidding. Kill me now, please.
Oh, and in Dorne, we had Era Hota is a black guy.
Maybe like the
But he
fourth,
wasn't wearing white robes.
person of color on the show.
Only ever?
I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a few.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
4
There's
or
a lot of
5.
people here.
Yeah.
All right. So accurate, sure. The description accuracy. Arya gives
antenna waving.
Arya arrives in Bravos. Pod and Brienne find trouble. Cersei fears for her daughter's safety. Stannis tempts Jon and advises what?
An advisor tempts Danny.
An advisor tempts Danny. Sorry.
You know,
guys.
Stannis, when he starts gyrating, that's hard for Jon to, back away from that temptation.
Gyrating.
John shows up with his
Stannis
dollar bills.
has the worst gyrating I'd ever seen.
He's
It
so
was
stiff.
terrible.
No, that'd be Bran. That'd be Bran.
No, I haven't seen it yet, so it could be better. Who
Benj.
knows? You could sit there. It would probably be better than what I saw between him and Mel. Just saying. That was terrible. Was it
Yeah,
accurate?
Arya
Yeah.
arrives. Pod and Brienne, sure, they find trouble. Cersei, yeah, she's worried about
Yeah.
Marcella. Stannis makes an offer that's pretty tough for Jon to refuse. Sure. An advisor tempts Danny. That one I feel like is less.
Yeah, because he's only been an advisor for literally like 30 seconds of last episode.
And it's not really a temptation. It's more of like he's trying to advise one way and then takes things into his own hands. Like what's
Yeah.
or is Drogon the advisor that's tempting her to just fly away? Like just leave with me.
Fly
Mom.
away.
Just
with
leave
me.
this place.
Yep. I feel like it's Aladdin. All right. So
let's fly away.
I knew there was a song somewhere that was going to be close. Least favorite thing, guys. Let's start with Luke here. What was your least favorite thing?
My least favorite thing was Cersei's reaction to the threat from Dorne and / the treatment of Jaime. I mean, if they're supposed to be like in a relationship, a couple, it's just doesn't seem healthy. I mean, outside of all of the really fucked up things that are going on, it's just not a good relationship. Like I don't know. I just have problems with the way she's treating him here.
Heard. Bailey?
I agree. Cersei just being Cersei.
Yep, she's terrible. Let's go with you, Benj.
Ilaria being all about vengeance. It's just doesn't make sense.
I am gonna boomerang off yours. And her, I'm cool with her wanting to take out the Lannisters. That's fine, understandable. From my point of view, I just don't understand this exact reason for being in a fight he chose to be in. So, Glenn?
Yeah, kind of least favorite thing would be probably like the Marine decisions, I guess. It just seems like a shit situation. And it just kind of got like a hole was dug and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and it just sucks.
It's not filling itself.
Right.
I think the word you were looking for was situation, but yeah, it does suck. Let's go on to our favorite things. We'll start with you, Glenn.
I liked the Titan at the kind of the beginning of the episode. Like, I don't know, the city of Bravos just looks really cool. And I know like a lot
Big
of
fucking statue.
The
There's a-
Teton.
right. It just looks really, really boss.
Awesome.
You're gonna be scrolling for a while, Luke.
I'm just holding it.
Benj, what was your
Uh,
favorite thing?
Kevin being a boss, just I do not uphold to your authority. Mic drop, fuck off, and just walking on Cersei. It just so badass, perfect.
Very good. Luke?
Kind of a the opposite of what Glenn's was. His least favorite thing was the Marine decisions. I really liked some of the decisions that she made here, and my favorite thing was Mother of Dragons justice. Law is law, and I like that she made the. Yeah, I mean the situation, all of the other shit around this Mirani is not. It sucks. I mean it, and she's not always doing the best job. Like, she's made some mistakes, but I think she's doing a good job learning from them, and I'm glad that she decided to give the guy a trial, and then when her prisoner was killed by somebody else, that person doesn't really deserve a trial at that point. I mean, it's kind of like, well, you clearly fucking did this, and you're basically showing off because of it. Like, you're telling that you did
We
this.
talked about this.
Right, and so I think she makes some right decisions here.
Oh man, I can't. There's a Lion King reference here. You something.
You deliberately disobeyed
You
me.
disobeyed me. There you go. I was like, I know it's coming. So, my favorite thing is going to be the prod. Oh my god.
Broad.
Broad.
The broad.
Prod. The prodigy.
That broad.
Pod and Brienne seeing just the little quick what's a bunch? Saddle up the horses. We only have one horse. Get more horses. I just like their little pairing. They're funny kids. Miss Bailey?
My favorite thing this episode is Sam's burns. I feel like people are starting to see Sam's personality.
Mm-hmm. Those were good.
Sam the Slayer
So-
and campaign manager.
I mean, hey, he's 1 for 1 right now. That's good. Good odds.
Hire him.
Yep. So we might need to hire Sam to be our campaign manager for our other podcasts. Tonight we're going to be talking about the podcast that must not be named. You can always learn more at thepodcastthat.com. The podcast that must not be named is a Harry Potter chapter by chapter reread of Harry Potter. Right now we are in book 4. And I think, what are we on?
Chapter 4 is about to be released. Or
Chapter
just
4.
released today, correct?
So
I think
4 or 5.
I don't know.
One of those chapters in there.
I think it was
First
4.
it was
4 just
4.
released today.
Okay, so anyways, must not be named Harry Potter. Super good. Features Luke over there and my sister Melissa. They're super funny, intelligent, and way smarter than I'll ever be. So talk to them about Harry Potter. You can find them and all our podcasts at thepodcastthat.com. Now over to me and my predictions that I have not predicted yet.
Take it away,
So,
Ab.
Take it away. Yeah, I'm on.
prediction number 1. Let's go to the top
Try
here.
to be soup.
So
Eat it before it eats you.
Shut the fuck up.
The worst. The worst. Over and over again at 4 in the morning. We'll go with Arya. So Arya meets up with Jaqen, and he is nobody, and they are going to get not together in a bad way, but they're gonna like team up, and I think she's gonna try to be nobody. I don't really know.
Tries to be no.
I mean, she
Are
wants
you
to be in the
typing it in?
club, and it
I got it,
seems
Liv.
like, yep, she's gonna be nobody. Let's go to the Vale. Podrick, Baelish. No, I don't really like that. I think Jamie and Braun get captured by the Dornish while they're trying to steal Marcella from like the king's palace. It's pretty stupid. We got that big old guy there. He's not gonna let him in. I think some people are going to be very mad about John's appointment, and I think John's gonna have to do like almost like Dany does here, where she like asserts her authority, or like, this is my rule, this is my law. to the Men of the Night's Watch because I don't think he's going to be respected or treated like an actual commander, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's my prediction. Sorry if it sucks. And lastly, who else do we have? I don't know.
Let's go a microfinger Sansa. Go with that one. Or Brienne Pod.
We'll go. So I don't think that Microfinger has Sansa's best interest at heart here. And I think at some point, Brienne does finally get to uphold her vows to protect Sansa. It's also kind of vague. I don't know. This show moves a lot. Let's just go with Brienne kills Microfinger next season. Or I mean next episode. That would be
Okay.
perfect.
All right.
That'd be good. All right, now over to me. All right, let's run through this stuff here. Are we doing all of them tonight, guys?
Let's do the consolidated one.
Yeah. I don't know what the consolidated one is, but you tell me.
Name, word, sigil, and new one.
Hey,
Okay.
there it is.
Perfect. Thanks, Luke. I will start. I am Abby, aka Gertie of House Condescension. My words are we don't quit. My sigil is a field of white with a raven sitting up top, a black appointed chevron. My house fool would be myself. And you can find me on Twitter at Go Home Gertie. My final thought was, just your standard episode 2 of a season episode. Bailey.
I am Bailey of House Blend. My house words are but first, coffee. My house sigil is a mermaid on a field of green. And my house fool is Tamlin the Tool. You can find me on my personal Twitter at Riddle Writes. And my final thought, I'm digging the dragons.
Glenn? Or we'll go with Ben. Are you good? Sorry, I see you don't have your fool yet.
I don't have a fool.
Could be a minstrel.
Could be a minstrel. Go to somebody else, and I'll try to think of one real quick.
Perfect.
Yes.
Ben.
All right. Well, I'm Ben, aka Sly of House McLean. Our house words are "It's dangerous to drink alone." Our house sigil, which has not been flagged, is 3 gold triangles on a field of red and black. My house minstrel is Nickeldum, the singing mime. You can find me on Twitter at Sly McLean. And my final thought is, as I'll repeat this many times, of all the episodes, this was one.
we were talking the other day about like if we use my rendition of the sigils, where it was like the Eastern Washington State football field, like they would just like call us out, but you'd have to change your like description of your sigil to 3 golden triangles on a field of Eastern Washington. University
sitting on a Chevron gas
I'll share those to
Go Redbirds.
We got a field at Eastern Washington University.
Just like a promo for them.
Lucan, take it away.
I am Lucan of House Blackmead. Our words are ours is the drink. Our sigil, which has been flagged on TeePublic for some fucking reason, is an obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background, and our house fool is Diddle the Dunce.
Diddle the Dunce.
You can find me on Twitter, my personal Twitter, at Luca Ferocious and at No One Drink. You're usually finding me there. Actually, more often than my own personal one. But final thought, I was cool kind of learning more about grayscale and hearing Shireen kind of talk about that, and that Gilly had some experience with it.
Glenn.
All right. I'm
you enough time.
Glenn of House Dog. House words, you miss 99% of the shots you don't take. House sigil, Spuds McKenzie on a Wayne Gretzky number 99 jersey. Minstrel or fool. And I guess we'll go with the Doof of Dunsandale. And then, yeah, I guess we'll go with that.
So the Doof of Dunsandale is
That's my fool.
that's your fool as well.
And the
No,
famous
no,
ancestor.
because I don't know. You put it as my ancestor, but my actual ancestor is the Duff.
Okay, all right, I'll allow it.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah.
It just kept getting copied back and forth.
All right,
Fair.
so the Doof.
The Doof. Just the
Any
Doof.
final thoughts? Glenn?
Final thoughts? As Joe said last week, that I always say, it's one of those run-of-the-mill episodes. Joe, if you're listening, touche.
Just one of those, run-of-the-mill.
One of those
standard Game of
run-of-the-mill
Thrones
standard,
episodes.
typical.
Trendy's getting up there too.
Trendy.
We have two
Become a-
drivers in our party.
You stepped on my agent.
Trendy.
Become a patron to get access to our epilogue episodes, which will be coming up next, and Team Slack channel, amongst other great perks. You can learn more at patreon.com/stayimaginary. For all the ways you can help us keep our beer bank full, check out the podcast that.com/support us. You can follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink. Send us a digital raven at knowandDrink@gmail.com. Please subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. And until next time, as always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
As always, keep reading.
And as always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
So, for our YouTube people, really quick, I'd like to give a couple shout outs to our awesome mods because they were helping us out. OTDA, newest mod, thank you for always being here. Mackenzie L. Burns, I have you up here. First, check out her channel. She's doing a spoiler-filled recap on Wednesday nights. Sometimes you may see a common face or a friendly face there jumping in.
Yours?
Yes, mine. And then also Living My Rhapsody, who does Westworld recaps on Monday nights, and then also interviews YouTubers for different things, who you might also see a friendly face for, I think, tomorrow at about 2:30 p.m. Central Time. So, you can check both of them out. So, all right, just want to put those out there for them.
YouTubers, I tried really hard to be involved with you tonight. I got off one tweet that said, "Hello, everyone." Sorry, I suck.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically an
Right.
embarrassment to everyone involved, and we're happy that you're here.
I don't think
makes us look better.
I don't think I've tweeted anything since like 2008.
2008. I was trying to be involved with like the YouTube chat. I just can't,
Definitely
read and
it's
chat at the
definitely
same time.
Kind of difficult.
Next week it'll be a little easier, but like I said, I had to do 2 computers so I could have my notes plus
Yeah.
chat plus.
My internet just isn't powerful enough to do the chat and the hangout at the same time.
Yes, Mackenzie's covering 1/6 this week, which is what's the episode title, Mackenzie? Wait 10 seconds.
1/6. What are you talking about?
Okay,
Season 1, episode 6.
Oh, okay. All right. So I can watch it.
so
Yeah, basically I'm doing the odd episodes. So,
I'm so excited to see anything that I can actually watch.
but you can't watch
revolving around.
these.
you guys want to know my last tweet that I
Yeah,
put out?
let's hear Glenn at Popsicle Stand's
Last tweet.
official tweet.
So, Christmas Day, 2013. I said,
Wow.
I tweeted, I lost the remote control, so it looks like I'm watching A Christmas Story all day.
That's a long day.
He's been
Nice.
funny for 5 years.
And
Proof.
Season 1, episode 6 is a Golden Crown, so make sure you check that out. That's a good one.
All right, we in for a quick epilogue episode. I think we could come up
Yeah.
with something pretty quick. Is everyone,
All right.
besides Abby, thumbs up? Good to do
Goodbye, everybody.
it? All
I
right.
need to do a quick beer run. I'll be right back.
Okay, goodbye, Abby.
Goodbye.
Good
I'll
show.
get out of
Good-
here.
Goodbye,
hosting.
goodbye, Benji too. Until you get beer.
And welcome Benji's new
Oh,
beer.
shit. I gotta find my, or what's it called?
Keyboard, mouse.
Mouse.
before
Well, I'm
that-
in my son's room tonight because my upstairs is not workable right now. So my mouse is on his floor somewhere here. There you go. Okay, now for real. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yep.
All right.
There we go.
So for epilogue, we could talk about Grayscale. We know Sam kind of starts
Yeah, this-
getting information about that. We know where that goes with Jorah. We can talk about dragon stuff. We can talk about Qyburn stuff with him doing his works. I mean, we're going to start seeing a lot more of that during season 5, kind of
Yeah.
culminating when Mountain Undead
Maybe
Highboard.
I don't know. Moving forward, just a suggestion. Do you want to start talking about like book stuff versus show stuff? Like
This would be that we could definitely do that
'Cause
because
I
there's
think
going to
that'd
be
be
a
good.
lot for season 5 on.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's totally in. So do
So
you
we
have
think
any-
Kyber, or what do you think, Glenn?
Anything. I don't really have a preference, but I was just kind of thinking about it the other day. Like probably be a good idea if we're doing these epilogues to kind of incorporate like a book versus show, like where
Yeah.
kind of what they kind of consolidated and what's different in the
Sure.
books or something like that.
I mean, we can, I think, pretty easily quickly go through just these different areas and touch on like, hey, this is like the one or two big things that have changed. Not really dwell too much on it, or we can just pick one and talk about it a little bit more.
I say we run through everything, and do a quick brief. Here's what changed. Here's where they made it work. Here's where we feel,
Sure. And obviously, a
Is
lot
that
of it's
okay?
going to, as they veer farther and farther, we'll have more to. I mean,
right.
we get
And we're-
more opportunities to talk about even the same things. Be like, hey, this is also where that kind of comes back to. I'm good with that.
Yeah. And to those in the chat, we're going to try to avoid bashing, because everybody knows but we're going to say what likes, dislikes, and all that. Do you agree or?
Oh yeah, no,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
Just-
no, I
just-
was more thinking. I don't know how much Bailey has read all the way through. I don't think you've finished them, have you?
No, only through Clash.
Okay,
Okay.
so if you're okay with the spoilers on the books,
Yeah, I don't mind.
I figured you would be fine with it. So that's why I just wanted to check because I thought that you were not fully through the books. So, who's hosting?
Abby.
All right, we'll just wait until Abby.
Bailey.
All right,
you're
Abby, get back on here.
Bailey, you're hosting.
Oh goodness.
Do you want to or not?
No.
I'll take it.
All right. All right. Let's just roll right into it.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Well, good evening. This is the podcast that drinks and knows things. Epilogue, episode 4, season 5, episode 2. The House of Black and White. Our show title was 999 Commanders on the Wall. 999 Commanders. I'm not going through the whole goddamn thing.
You take one down, you pass it around. 998 commander.
Longest
You
show title
get
ever.
it.
But we are talking about a multitude of things. We decided in our break between episode recording and now that we're going to go through and do these epilogues for this episode, since this is where the seasons start to divert from the book stories, kind of take what we like from the books, go not scene by scene exactly, but kind of area by area. Where do they differ? Where did they, change up from what we knew in the books? What works?
It's a
What
change up.
is like, what the fuck? But we're gonna
What the
try to
fuck?
avoid bashing and hating on everything because you know what? These are good. This is still a good show. There's a reason why we still watch it and we still enjoy it. So to start us off, we'll start in Bravos.
How about you introduce the rest of us?
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. There's Glenn. There's Luke. Hi, Bailey. No, kidding. Glenn of House Dog, how you doing tonight?
Good, good.
Luke, how you doing?
Doing quite all right.
And our special guest this week is Bailey Riddle, Bailey of the Blend, of House Blend.
Bailey
How
of
you
the
doing, Bailey?
Blend.
Not too shabby.
The blend water.
the Blendalands. And
She's got the blends.
Sounds like a satellite radio station.
Yeah. That actually, yeah.
Hi, I'm Bailey, and you're listening to The Blend.
The blend on
Yeah, that played at the shoe store when I worked there for so long.
98.4 The Blend.
And these epilogue episodes are obviously without our first-time watcher. She will not listen to these until way later, after she finishes season 8, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so, well, I guess maybe season 7, because that's all we know. So, spoilers abound.
Exactly. So we're going to start in Bravos with Arya arriving and then getting to the House of Black and White. She meets a kindly old man who shuns her away. Later on, she is hunting down a pigeon, is confronted by 3 strangers. The kindly old man walks by. They scurry off. And the kindly old man is revealed to be Jaqen H'ghar. So
I don't like that it's Jaqen.
You don't?
No, stupid. I don't like it.
Like
Because
he's
it's so
the-
much
Okay with it.
consolidation. It's so much consolidation.
Because I feel like book-wise, that's who is, because we don't know
It's
book-wise.
not.
I feel kindly old man is Jaqen.
It's not.
Okay. I mean, I'm because my theory that going forward from the beginning has been Sirio is Jaqen is the kindly old man. It's been the same person following her along the whole way. So I think it fits. Book to show to everything.
Okay.
The only
Right,
confirmation
because
show
I guess in the book isn't it just what are they call the old man? Like he's not
The kindly
the
man.
kindly man. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I called him the cranky man first in the
Cranky.
notes, and then I called him the kindly man when he was a little bit
I'll be
nicer.
back. You talk amongst yourselves.
The Murtaugh old man.
Yeah, I don't really like that it's Jaqen. It works well. It works for the show, and I'm okay with it for the show. That's just like my gut reaction that, hey, I know they're not doing these other things that are almost very well
Right.
established.
He's
that
like
Jaqen does.
He's like
under
the
a
leader of this
pack.
house in black and white, the pack. But what was it, season 2 or whatever? He was
different, pieced out.
He was pieced out. He was over there. You know, what are you doing? You're not teaching the peeps.
Who was leading it then?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So making it him. See, and I'm not even convinced that we're supposed to think it is the same guy.
It might not be. They might just here's a mask.
Here's the face that she's.
All right, I dropped off the Jaqen H'ghar mask. You can use it. You know,
You can use it. There's no one here by that name.
I'm going to the
so
casino.
then, whenever she comes there, and he basically, the kindly old man, he like sends like a tweet over to Westeros, like, "Hey, I need that face that you had a couple months back. Like, can you just send that back?"
It's like, dude,
Someone the Express Raven.
I'm chained up. I can't. Not right now.
Yeah. So Benj, the prologue to Feast for Crows
I know
is
what you're Pate.
Pate the Pig Boy, the guy that he's dealing with that gives him the golden dragon coin.
Yeah.
That's Jaqen, and so Arya would already be in Bravos by then.
No. At the start of Feast for Crows, she's on her way to Bravos.
Yeah, I mean, I
So-
guess we only have that picture. It could still. I think it makes the Faceless Men group seem a lot smaller than I think they are. To have it be him.
Agreed. And I'm okay in
Something that
I'm
Glenn
okay
was just saying. He was just like, well, whenever Jaqen was with Arya a couple seasons ago, like who was kind of running the show here back at the House of Black and White? Like if he's the only
True.
fucking guy here,
No, agreed. And I guess find it because I'm not the deep thinker of the show here. You know, I read stuff and and as I'm reading the books, I'm like, that's Jaqen under a new disguise or a new moniker or whatever. And that's just kind of where I hope it goes. So when they came out with this, I was like, okay, cool. My suspicions has been elated. Cool. If it went a different way and it was the first guy the whole way through, I'm fine with that. But I think they did dumb it down for viewers like myself who are like, wait, where the hell's Jaqen then? And just instead of just everybody backlashing about that, just get it out of the way. Boom. Put Jaqen in there. Game of consolidation.
yeah,
show
I'm
wise.
fine with it
I'm
for the
fine
show.
with it.
I got a theory, I guess, real quick. Maybe the old black man, that's a disguise to answer the door. So everyone just kind of puts that on real quick and then answers the door. And then maybe like, she's like, oh, Jaqen H'ghar here or whatever. And then like, he's like, oh, no one. And then like, closes the door and there's sends a tweet out to Jack and like, hey, some little girl was here to see you or whatever, and then he's like, oh, well, let me get back to the House of Black and White.
Oh, she
real
made
quick,
it. Cool.
And I'll make sure no bozos.
So, Luke, do you have an issue, or does anybody have an issue with the captain not saying "What's my name"?
Yes, I did. That was.
I have an issue with that.
She should absolutely know his name. It's a huge fucking point in that opening chapter when they're sailing across that every single person on that ship goes out of their way to tell Arya what their names are and makes them memorize it, because the Faceless Man, in their head, at least they believe that if the Faceless Man knows your name, then he knows you and can't.
Yeah. It's kind of like
contract
like Pokemon Red or Blue, where you go on like the SSN and everyone's just kind of like, well, I'm so and so.
Yeah.
Let's battle.
Yeah. The only difference is Ash would be coming out and whipping their fucking taking their faces off if they didn't know who they were.
Well, I think
Or
in
Charizard,
some versions his name is Red.
Red. Yeah. Good point.
Gary and Blue.
Bailey,
what do you think about the House of Black and White
Bailey.
in the show?
I mean, I don't have much book reference for this, but I feel like we don't see enough people there throughout the course of the show. There has to be more than just Jack and the young girl, who are the primary characters we see.
The
wafer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of along with how I feel about it.
So, all right. So, anything else
And
for
basically this storyline, kind of her being there, is still going on in the books, right? Because she hasn't. I know the show's like kind of had her kind of done with that
Come
and back to Westeros, but I think in the books it's just kind of still.
She's still in
still there.
Bravos. She just got her eyesight back, and she
I
just
think
killed.
because I think George R. R. Martin kind of released a couple like preview chapters for the next was it Winds of Winter, and I think one of them is her
Mercy.
Right, and then like her going to the whatchamacallit, the play or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. And but like the Mercy thing, that's actually called back to last season with I want to say Polliver in the inn, where he's like, my leg's broken, you're gonna have to help me. And she's like, oh, your leg's hurt, you're not gonna be able to walk, you're gonna need help. Yeah, I'm gonna need help. And oh, you remember your lines. That's actually a callback to the Mercy chapter, which I thought was well done, because I think Mercy was the first new chapter released for Winds of Winter. Either that or Theon's chapter, I can't remember, one of those two. But yeah, so when they put that in the show, I was like, hell yeah, that was awesome. So, anything else on the Bravos House of Black and White?
Not really.
No, we'll see a lot more as we go along.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to King's Landing. We got Jaime, Cersei, Bronn, and Lollies, Qyburn, Cersei, the Bozos, and Trent in the Dwarf's Head, and Cersei, Qyburn, Mace Tyrell, GMP, and Kevin McLannister. So kind of got all those out there. You want to start with Bronn and Jaime? This change, or do we want to wait till we get down to Dorne for that one?
I think we can probably lump both of these together. Like,
yeah, I think this all pretty much ties in. The only thing that's kind of separate would be like Qyburn, if there's anything there, but most of the rest of it ties. Basically everything we see at King's Landing.
And I think Kevin McLannister goes home and he like orders a pizza, and then the pizza guy comes, and then
large cheese.
he knocks over the statue.
And then he plays that that clip from that movie. Like, you got to the count of 10.
You filthy animal.
And 1, 2, 10, and then he like shoots up the place, and then the pizza guy runs. So yeah, that was all in the books. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, that's one of those early release chapters. From Winds of Winter. The Kevin McLannister.
Sorry, get your tinfoil out. What's Qyburn using the head for?
I don't know. Like, maybe like, I want to think like something to do with dwarves or something. Like, I have no idea.
Do you think he might believe in the old superstition, or want to test the superstition of rubbing a dwarf's head is good luck?
It's like a rabbit's foot.
Well, no, because like we learn in Tyrion's chapters in Dance with Dragons, when he's on the ship, everybody wants to come by and rub his head because having a dwarf on the ship is good luck. So they all rub his head for good luck. So I was wondering if maybe Qyburn had something to play off.
It's even
That dwarf's head
more
up.
luck to suck a dwarf's cock.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the lines.
All right, so
I don't know. I think if anything, it's potentially just spare parts a little bit. It's
He's going to be a
little bit
hairdresser. It's going
testing.
to be like a mannequin.
You know, he wants to make sure that he has the look for Sir Robert Strong whenever, you know, he reanimates the mountain. No, I think if anything, it's potentially a little bit to do with spare parts and a little bit to do with just it's a fresh bit of meat for him. You know, he can kind of play around with the brain a little bit and try to start testing some things out on trying to get the brain to start at least responding, maybe. That's kind of how I look, just experimenting on it.
And Qyburn's kind of the Rick.
He's kind of a Rick Sanchez.
Rick Sanchez.
You know, he's the one that does that.
Well, and how often do you just get a free head that comes across
it's
your
free head
your
night
desk?
at the ballpark.
That's a good question. When's the last time, Glenn, you got free head?
Free head.
the only brain that's ever wasted is the one that's never used. Or something like that.
Didn't have to pay for that one.
This one's on the house.
On the house. Oh. Kind of like getting your yard aerated, and seeded for free. Because the one guy fucked up.
All right. So anything with Kevin McAllister and Mace and all that?
No.
I don't think the show plays up as well as the book did from this scene. This is one of those scenes that it was book to show, very well done. But I don't think the show follows up on it as much as book, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't reread this chapter on my current reread yet. I can't remember exactly how this whole conversation goes, but I know like Cersei's character is quite a bit different in the show than it is in these parts of the books.
Because this conversation happens when she's already captive of the sparrows.
Right. Yeah,
So-
that's right. Yep.
You know, so this all happens at that point. This actually is a take from him telling off Jaime. Because Jaime, that's when they were riding off together to take Lancel to wherever the fuck he was going. He's basically calling out, you know, Jaime for all the shit him and Cersei are getting up to. And that's when they all just kind of ride off. So we never get the interaction between Cersei and Kevin. You know, we get the word from Cersei saying, "Oh yeah, Kevin blew me off or whatever," but we don't get this scene. So I do enjoy this scene, but I'm not sure if the payoff is as good of like him coming back as the Hand. I mean, I guess it is. He does come back after the sparrows and all that, but
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing is different because obviously in the books he ends up getting shot by Varys at the very end of Dance, and that's supposed to be the big kind of. I mean, it's the epilogue, right?
Yeah, it's a cliffhanger,
right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, oh shit, like things are really about to start moving for the first
and
time.
I'm not
in a
gonna
while.
lie, I don't remember what happens to him in the show. It's just Cersei
Well,
takes over. Right?
Is he in the
McAllister?
Sept?
In the
it blows
Sept? I
up?
don't think so. I
Kevin?
don't think he's in the Sept. In
Yeah.
the Sept.
I think he was.
I think he was.
Chat, if we're tell me,
he
And
might
that
be
might have been. I don't know if
can't
it's like a
remember.
book thing or anything,
because he's working with Common and the High Sparrow and the Tyrells. I think she just wipes everybody out, and I think he was in there because I don't
Right.
think he was doing much.
It's very
before that,
possible.
really.
No, that's very possible.
which
I'm
is
just not
I
positive.
don't think
I can't remember.
is that's not part of like the books right now, right?
No, that is
we haven't
not.
gotten to that yet. The last we have from King's Landing is basically Cersei's walk, then and then at the end of Feast for Crows, Kevin getting wiped
shot.
out by Varys.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. So then let's go to Dorne because we'll do Jaime, Bronn, Elia, Ario, and Prince Doran. So let's get it out of the way. The storyline they took doesn't make sense. It just doesn't, for show wise, compared to what they had in the books. Book wise, made complete sense of why people would be pissed. But Ilaria being pissed about, Oberyn, it just doesn't make sense because she was there. I'll let you guys kind of.
It might just be like I'm just gonna jump on something to blame them, whatever it is. I'm just gonna jump on that train and jump on that bandwagon and bitch about it, I guess.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And they kind of mess quite a few things up with the Sand Snakes, make them just basically little superhero like action figures, caricatures of how complicated the Dorne plot really is. There's a lot more going on in Dorne than the show wants to get into. It seems like a very much Stannis thing where they don't quite understand it all, I think, at times. And
I don't think
just consolidate
the special ops mission is really a thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna bring up is the whole Jaime Bronn thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see those two together because they're very good quip actors put together. There's other things those two could go off and do.
It's all an issue because at this point we have several stories that some are way farther ahead than others are, and you can't have Jaime going to the Riverlands with Brienne nearly as soon as, that's what she's doing, and this would all be happening pretty soon that would happen. So they needed something for Jaime to do, and hey, we also have Jerome Flynn. Let's do this,
right?
And we need to kill Myrcella anyway, which again, kind of like, and then we get to kill Prince Doran too.
We need to introduce Dorne, to the fold, and with the characters we have, what can we do?
Bailey, your thoughts? Because you, up to this point, like you said, you're pretty much show to hear. So what were your feelings on this? Sorry.
As far as Ilaria's reason for wanting to go after the Lannisters, it's a cheap reason. Like, there are many other reasons. It's something that Oberyn made his choice, and he knew what he was getting into. He didn't have to be such a showman in trying to get his revenge. So I think that, by all means, go after the Lannisters, but the reason that she does it isn't the best.
Yeah. No, agreed. And I think Doran is played well, a very, not pacifist, but sit back and wait, which is how he was written, but it's what's needed. Because you don't need the brutal king. Because if Oberyn was king, Dorne wouldn't exist. I'll put it out there right now. Or if Oberyn was Prince of Dorne, whatever, what I'm saying, it wouldn't exist because he would just try to annihilate everyone and get run over in the end. Doran, I think, plays it the smart way, but no one else sees it apart from Arya Hota, who sees everything. So, anything else on?
Also, no trying to crown Myrcella, but they do. There is a reference in this episode where Tristan Martell is walking around with her right when Ilaria is looking out over, and in the subtitles you can see it. And Bailey said that she could hear it, but he calls her my future queen. So they kind of have an Easter egg to that, but they don't do anything with it. Like, they don't try to crown her like they do in the books. And there's no Ares Oakheart, and basically the Kingsguard that goes down with her to protect her. And
which I'm okay with that consolidation.
There's
a little bit.
There's no Dark Star. It's I don't know, some pretty cool characters that they just didn't want to open that door. They wanted to just focus on the established plot lines and not billow out for more and more and more, because they were already starting to wind down. In all honesty. So
we're gonna skip. We'll jump to the road to Volantis here. Varys and Tyrion. That's kind of about. Actually, no. We get no. Not Griff. Yeah, no Griff. No Griff. No John and Connington.
Right.
Because at this point, this is where Tyrion is met up with them. And so,
isn't there like a midget whore, or like a midget?
Penny.
Yeah.
Penny, yeah.
Penny. That's in. Oh shit! Fuck. What town is that?
Volantis.
That's after. It's after Volantis. because it's where because Volantis is where Jorah gets Tyrion, and then
Oh, is it in
fuck-
Astapor? Whenever,
yeah.
they get
Yeah.
sold into slavery.
Well, yeah, but it's before then too. I forget where. It might be in Volantis
Where
altogether.
do whores go?
Yeah, Atlantis apparently.
But I'm okay with consolidation. No Griff, no
No Fagon
Connington,
plot.
no Fagon. But it is an interesting. Had they had 10 seasons to work with, yes, I would absolutely want that. But by this point, they knew there was going to be 7/7.5 seasons.
Did you see George R. Martin the other day at the, I guess,
Emmys.
was it at the Emmys? He was like, you know, we could have had 12, 13, 14 seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Like a fuck you.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more to talk about, I think, with as we kind of move forward with Tyrion and him hooking up with old Bear's son. Well, why can't I think of it? Jorah the Andal, and kind of going through Valyria like they do. So that we'll have more to talk about soon with that. Lost Benji, so I'll just move forward to the wall where we have our newly crowned Night's Watch Commander.
Yeah.
Which number? 998.
998.
Questionable, but we also learn about Shireen and Gilly, talk about Grayscale. Selyse is kind of the worst. And Jon has to make a decision whether or not to basically uphold his Night's Watch vows or become Jon Stark like he's always wanted.
Right, and I think as far as the show's concerned, we now know who the 999th commander is.
Was he voted?
Died. I think he was selected.
He was
by
just kind of. You have the command now.
By default.
I'm out of here. See ya.
I've already given my life for this place. Literally, I'm out.
Yeah, there's apparently
I pledged my life. I gave my life.
A bad fan theory going on that season 8, Sam is going to kill Jon for breaking his vows. It's just like, no, like that's not gonna happen. And also, Sam would have to kill himself as well. Like,
oh, by the way, Jon, I meant to do this. Take.
I've been through this again.
Hey, Mel, can I call you back one more time?
Right. Maybe that's what Mel was talking about. She has to come back because Sam's gonna kill him again.
So, anything else on the wall?
Grayscale, we start seeing some of that, but I think whenever we get to the Stone Men in Valyria, we see that whole interaction with Jorah and Tyrion. But we can kind of open that door back up.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Okay. No, honest opinion. Did Jon make the right call? Like, I know honor wise, but just what the one thing he wanted in the world was the first thing he ever wanted was to be called a Stark. Did he make the right call and turn Stannis down?
Bailey.
For who Jon is, yes.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, and I can't disagree. I'm just being devil's advocate. I mean, personally, it's the one thing you've always wanted, and you know where it's going to end up if Thorin wins. Yeah. So, but it worked out in the end for him, I guess. So, all right. So, on to Marine.
Are Glenn and I going to get a chance to answer?
Oh, I thought you guys.
No, let's move on.
I walked away for a minute. I thought you guys had already talked about the wall.
No, we
So sorry.
we were going for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
No, like it just seems like everybody kind of, or at least Sam kind of assumed that. Oh, I'm happy for you.
I'm happy
like,
for you.
Like that's pretty cool that you're gonna be Jon Stark or whatever. And he's like, I'm not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
and even Sam was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, I feel like I see this all the time in different movies and shows, and like something you want your whole life, and then it finally comes to fruition, and then you're like, "Well, shit, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I don't know what to do."
Yeah, it's the dramatic irony of
Yeah.
it.
Like, oh, you kidding me?
So did he make the right choice then?
Did he make the right choice then? Like I would say, kind of like what Benji was saying. Like, I guess he made the right choice. I think Bailey said, as far as his like honor and stuff like that, but it ended up working out for him, somehow. Because like, let's say if Thorne gets elected, he would have been a thorn in the side for John, or did something with him. Like John wasn't going to be just a regular guy. Something was going to go down, I think.
You think he likely just would have been killed outright for being a traitor or whatever by Thorne?
Could have been.
I think that's pretty plausible. I don't know. Like I think he does make the right choice here. It is absolutely his character. It's his stark nature that doing the right thing is the right thing, and guess what? Doing the right thing is almost never the easy thing. I mean, it's the dramatic irony of it that, hey, this is what I've always wanted, and yeah, finally the chance that I'm getting to get that is like the worst fucking time possible for this to actually come up. And even with that, like, ever since he quote unquote broke his vow with old Ygritte, I think he has been re-solidified in wanting to uphold the vows that he believes he signed up for life. And I think so. I think he does make the right choice. But who's to say that he couldn't still be Jon Stark and like basically take both? He can't hold lands, but
yeah. And just really quick, LMR has a great line in the chat here. Selyse and Lysa could be best buddies and braid each other's hair.
yeah,
They would be perfect fits for each other.
Yeah,
Sorry, I know,
be good
completely
pals.
off topic, but I just saw
I
that
could
one,
see it.
and yeah. Honestly, for the longest time, I thought they were the same actress. Like on the first watch through, I'm like, is that the? It took me a couple minutes for like
Kate Dickey,
that.
and I
Kate Dickey.
don't know
I don't
Queen
know.
Selyse's
Some other
actress.
probably.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else on the wall for tonight?
No.
All right. So we're going to go to Marine. First scene was Dari 2.0 catching the son of the harpy with Grey Worm. And then it moves on to Massador begging for the queen to have him killed. The queen says no. Massador does it anyway. And then she has him killed, and people hiss, and the dragon pops up. So, based off of that, I did really like them playing up Dario's kind of manhood, quote unquote, or realness to Grey Worm here, of how they just don't fear shit.
The humanity of it.
The humanity, and that's true, because
I thought you were talking about his cock for a second. Play up his manhood. I mean,
it was a double entendre. An intentional one, actually unintentional, but I was leaving it there. But played up the realness of the humanity of fear, and I think that's one thing that does go unnoticed a lot in the show is everybody looks at, or they play up the Unsullied as these ultimate super soldiers, and I don't say it goes unplayed. I think it plays the show plays it very well, showing their true humanity, even compared to the Bookwise, because Bookwise we don't get a lot of Unsullied insight, because the whole Grey Worm and Missandei stuff, that's all show stuff and all that. So on that end, I do like where the show takes that aspect, showing there's more humanity in the Unsullied. They just don't have the knowledge of real life. Yes, LMR is cockhood.
It's cockhood.
Anybody's thoughts on the whole scene? Sorry, I know I just talked about the first part.
I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of. We're gonna see a lot of Marine, and this is just kind of the beginnings of it being pretty rough learning curve for her, and it's just not a good situation. Pretty difficult situation, as Glenn was saying during our regular episode.
A sticky situation.
Sticky situation.
Pass the ball, sticky.
Pass the ball, sticky. And yeah, I don't know. She's got a lot of learning to do, and she just needs some help. You know, she doesn't know how to do this, and she doesn't really have anyone around her that knows how to do this. Everyone has good points, but nobody knows what it means to rule around her. She's kind of shooting a gun without a barrel kind of thing. You know, like she has the firepower, but she doesn't have any fucking way to aim it or know where it's actually going to end up, because basically she needs Tyrion. Like, that is the key that she needs. She needs an advisor that's done it before or has
been there, done that.
Because Barristan's close and he has a lot of good information, but it's not really leadership information. It's a little bit more history, a little bit more context, and yeah, he's doing a good job being a mentor to her, but he's never really been in that position to actually make those decisions. I don't know. It's even Jorah would be a big benefit to her right here.
No, I agree. And like I said, season 5 Danny is so weird to me, because like episode 1, she was it's all about me, but then episode 2, she's like, I'm going to listen to Barristan and do this, and so it's a weird dichotomy of her personality, of a very much bipolar-esque style of rule, of we don't know which way you want to take this. You know, do we want justice? Do we want this? And this episode, she was pretty sound in mind. The only thing, like I said, is I agreed with Dario, because head off in the pyramid, but if you want to prove your point, put it on a pike. There you go. This is what you get. Don't make a show of it. So this is a very oddly directed storyline, I guess, is the best way I can put it.
Glenn, Bailey, anything?
Not really, no.
She has a lot to learn, and I think that she is on the track to surrounding herself with people who are going to help her with that.
Yeah,
even though she doesn't know it.
Exactly.
They're on the track. She's just like,
they're coming to her.
Yeah.
Don't you think they should like send her a bird? Be like, hey, help's on its way. Like, we're here to help.
You know, Barry's and Littlefinger's, they're kind of buddies. Can't he borrow his, teleporter? Just, hey,
right.
I got someone coming. So, all right. Anything else we want to talk about from this episode, future-wise, book-wise?
The dragons start looking better later.
I think this is where they start looking good. Like, well, I think
it looks a lot better even later. Like it looks all right, but once Bailey said, "Yeah, it looks like Smaug," I can't stop seeing it now.
You cannot see it.
And it absolutely does. And I think a lot of the same technology, because it was around the same time frame. Yeah, it was probably used. But for the show wise, looking at Drogon, he looks badass, and adding the emotion behind it, like I said, was a good touch. But yeah, it's definitely Benedict in there, just uncredited. Doctor Who. God damn it! I gotta think of a pun name. Dr. Hugan. There we go. Sure, Dr. Hugan. Drogon. There we go.
Well, it's funny. I think when we're talking about the dragons or whatever, I think as far as the CGI is concerned, I think a lot what I've heard is it was almost like, what do you want to do, like dragons? Because they had to do dragons, giants, direwolves, and I think like eventually like the direwolves kind of got cast aside.
Yeah, and the cats.
Mm-hmm.
No more Sir Pounce.
Sir Pounce. But yeah, I think some of these others, basically like 1-1 kind of dominated for a while, and then like after he had passed, rest in peace, of course. But
1-1.
1-1.
Pour one out for 1-1.
Pour one out for 1-1. And then it just kind of
1-1 out.
got kind of dominated by the dragons. I think
Yeah, that and the white polar bear,
white polar bear.
whited polar bear.
Well, that and also just the massive battle scenes of Hardhome and Battle of Bastards. Those both took up massive budgets where they're like, yeah, we're just no. You get the dragons. That's it.
Yeah.
So, all right, awesome. Well, that's going to wrap up our epilogue episode. We thank you all for joining us today. Catch us next week as we discuss season 5, episode 3. Anybody got the title already? Andy?
No.
I
can get it real quick. High Sparrow.
High Sparrow. All right. So season 5, episode 3, High Sparrow. You can find out more at thepodcastthat.com. You can find all of our shows. You can also reach us on Twitter at Know and Drink. You can send us a digital raven at knowandrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, leave us comments on iTunes and YouTube. We always appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button if you're in the live chat here. And until next time.
Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
As always, keep reading.
And as always, stay imaginary.
Imagery.
How do you know this? That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Our Direwolf budget is still about what, $6?
Is that the only left?
No, they're
only one unbroken. I'm saying that originally unbroken.
I think both of I think
This is the headless one.
both of these have never been broken.
Mine was broken.
This is this
orange
this
eyes,
one.
which is the one that Glenn's holding there.
Yep.
Glenn's right here, I think is.
There's been one of them that hasn't been
actually,
broken.
Glenn's might be the one that has never broken.
I think
No,
one.
That's no. I think that's this one. Mine is the one that had the ears fall off like real early.
And that one had like a foot fall off or something.
This is the one that had the foot fall off. So Glenn's is the only one.
But I think it has like a little mark on it.
Oh.
You see that?
I do. Is that maybe a griffin or
I have no idea.
maybe from trivia night? Probably. Very likely from trivia. That was a shit show.
Yes.
But definitely thank you everyone in the chat for hanging out with us. And hashtag discount direwolves. LMR, you're too funny.
Yes.
All
Can't
right.
wait for tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
What are you doing tomorrow? Which one
Tomorrow
is that?
she's interviewing me at about 2:30 p.m. ish. I'm not quite sure what to expect. I mean, she just said I'd like to interview you of your favorite things about the shows and talk about different stuff. So I have no idea. I think I'm gonna cry. She'll
Man,
probably give me a
You're gonna
cry.
cry.
Which is
must be
alright.
nice to be able to do that in the middle of the afternoon on a work day.
It kind of is. Just pray to God no one calls.
Yeah.
LMR, where can you get these? We got them at Ice and Fire Con, and I think I have the guy's card. I'll check it out and I'll shoot you a message if I can find the guy's name.
Yeah, and it's not like he's just a direwolf only sculptor. He had like a lot of other cool stuff. He
Called
had
Drogo, about that tall.
he had like
tall.
little figurines that he would make, and what was the Victorian?
Victorian
was
Greyjoy.
the coolest thing
I-
I've ever seen. I think.
I just wish I would. I wish I just would have bought it. It was
just
like
sacked up
it was
and
like $120 or something.
yeah.
I was like, if it's there tomorrow, I'm getting it.
And
And
it
sure enough, it was
wasn't.
gone. But that thing was awesome,
Snooze, you lose.
basically. But I also didn't end up spending.
But he had, like,
$120, which
yeah.
was a good choice.
He had a number of different stuff, and even like I think he had some Walking Dead stuff.
Yeah, he had a bunch of little Cthulhu thing, like little baby Cthulhu face things
Yeah.
too, which were kind of cool. Yeah, a lot of cool people, vendors at Ice and FireCon. If you can go, definitely do. I know St. Rixian will be there again, selling her artwork. That's where Glenn got his 2 posters there.
As of
pretty-
right now,
pretty dope.
3 of the 4 hosts of the show will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying which one won't.
Oh, we know.
I know. Well, it's undecided. Not saying won't, just undecided. So, all right. Thank you all. We love you. We're gonna end this now because
Noochies
I don't know.
boochies.
smooches.